Hello everyone and welcome to the Radiant Invitational featuring Rocket League and Epic Games. I am Jordies and I am joined by Danger Tackle. How are we doing today?
Excellently. It is always an excellent day to be able to be beside you, but also to have Radiant back in the scene because we've been missing out. We've been really starved for events, and then they come out here with its banger 10K, invite all these creators, pro players, all the women's players that make this scene so rich and filled with the history of its competitive scene. So I'm pumped to be able to get into it, and definitely I know all the players are as well. A lot of people hyping up stuff on the timeline, tweeting out stuff, so it's going to be a blast.
Yeah, if you guys aren't aware, this is the playoffs for today. We've had lots of things going on over the weekend, including the EU side of the group stage and the NA. And today is the day where we kind of merge it all together and see who comes out on top as our Radiant Invitational champions.
And so being able to actually get everybody into the same bracket, it's going to be half NA teams, half EU teams. So we kind of halved all the groups, got the best of the best in here, and we're going to be able to try and go through that single elimination bracket in this 10K, as we mentioned. So as we kind of kick off everything and get into where everything is going to stand, these are the teams that you're going to be looking for. Miss Macho's team up on the top of the bracket. That is the #1 seed coming out of NA, and then Team Serac over there on the other side of the bracket. Also another team finishing with a nearly perfect record of 9 wins, getting 3 straight wins. But other than that, I mean, pretty stacked lineups throughout all of this. There were some surprises, Jordies, as you mentioned, Bella's team, unfortunately not making this top 8.
Yeah, that would be Team Valar. I was having a look at the teams because, like I said, top 4 from each region make it through to today, and we did have some teams, notable ones I thought were going to do pretty well too, but you know, sometimes things just don't work out on the day. But yeah, some of the other teams pretty close. It was kind of down to like some teams getting through by game wins and stuff, and yeah, Team Valor was definitely one of the teams that I thought was going to get through, but no. NA side, we have Team Miss Macho, we have Team Quesadilla, we have Team Bales, and World of Witchcraft, which is Team Burt, if you guys don't know. I think it's really funny that they chose a name and no one else did for the NA side.
But then mirroring that, yeah, we do have Crimson, who's getting Tesco meal deal. So huge fan of that, to be able to get something kind of strange. Also very EU, because I don't think Tesco exists at all outside of the European continent. So being able to actually getting some uniqueness in there is nice. But another thing that is nice is being able to play for some cash. First place, 3K, and then the rest of everybody else getting some pretty hefty prize pool here. So no matter what, even if your absolute favorite does not do super well in this bracket, they're getting a little something something.
Yeah, and I mean, that's what you play for, right? You play for the fun of it, but you also, the money's a bonus at the end of the day. Let's do it. And yeah, really good prize pool here. And I know that everyone's going to be looking for that top prize, first place as well. And honestly, I'm really excited to see how these matches start and how they progress. I mean, we've got some really good teams. I'm particularly leaning more towards the EU side, no bias. There's some really solid teams here that I think could go all the way. Do you think that we're going to get an EU-NA final, or do you think it's going to be a full one-sided region tournament at the end?
It's kind of hard to say. I mean, there's a lot of players, like we mentioned, that we saw the team lineups and we're like, oh man, that's a really good team. It's going to go far, and it didn't quite work out on the group stages. But I remember at least seeing Miss Macho's team of 5UP and Paige. I know Paige from, I've hosted show matches and being able to cast other women's tournaments, and been like, that's a really good team. Altogether, that's really, really solid. Miss Macho's putting in the grind constantly trying to upper twos rank. So I know that would work out really well for them. But on the other side, I think there's plenty of players that, I mean, obviously we know with Crimson Steven alone, Serac, being on those orgs, being going really, really far in previous Radiant tournaments. So I think there's a lot of competitive experience, but on top of this, I think the coordination that we're seeing, everyone getting along in VCs, as we might be doing some tune-ins later on, you guys might be able to see just how coordinated everyone is, but they're just having fun with it. And I think that's a great way to approach it, not take it too seriously, stay loose and stay free-flowing so that everything kind of works out together.
Yeah, we have a really fun mix of teams as well. If you guys are just tuning in for the first time and you don't really know how the teams have been picked, all the team captains are creators, and they are all from the women's scene, and then we have additional female players in as well. And then the third one, I think they could just kind of like it could be a friend, it could be a pro. We have some pros in, which is interesting. Of the likes of, we have Gyro, we have Nico from BDS participating today as well. I think it's going to be really interesting to see how all these teams clash against each other too. But let's talk about the matchup that we're going to be getting into first here. It's going to be Team Bales versus Team Steven. What are your thoughts about that, Danger Taco?
Well, particularly, I mean, this is something that we actually have a little bit of a collegiate connection going in for Team Bales, because Hero and Gyro actually both at West Virginia, as you can see with the picture on here is PFP. But being able to party up with Bales, who is, I don't think she would admit to a kind of competitive person whenever I tune in for a stream. You know, she's going through the motions. She's getting her rank up, being able to, you know, trash talk a little people. She can dish it right back. So definitely a really well-organized team and a good representative on the NA side trying to come through, as they didn't completely clean up in their group stages, but obviously did more than well enough to be able to get into this stage and compete against a pretty staunch Team Steven.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest, I didn't catch much of the EU side on Friday. I had a lot of personal things come in the way, but I really like this team, Steven and Cloudy especially. I know I've seen them play before. I've played with them in teams prior to this tournament. They're really fun. They're really competitive as well. They can get serious when they need to. So I'm really excited to see how the dynamics are of both teams when they're playing against each other. I do feel like Team Steven has more of a competitive edge, whereas Team Bales, I feel like it's gonna be more for the it's gonna be competitive, but it's gonna be more fun as well, you know. I don't know if any of these teams are streaming off their personal channels. I know I did see some of the girls go live prior to the tournament starting today, so maybe get some POVs around too. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing how this matchup goes.
And being able to also see these players coordinate in unique ways. I feel like the one staple of the women's scene that I feel like we've seen across many different tournaments, even though this is technically somewhat of a co-ed tournament, the one thing that is a little tough is when you look at, you know, RLCS or Collegiate Rocket League or any of these local tournaments in the bubble, there's normally like pretty ordinary teams and you're like, okay, this player plays with that player. But it feels like every single time in the women's scene, we just shake up all the teams and then throw them out and say, like, these are the new rosters. This is what you get used to. So we're kind of getting a continuation of that. And because of that, I think you and I, Jordy, were both looking at these rosters like, I know of these players, but how are they actually going to work together? That's not really always kind of a mystery box type solution that we have to come up with, kind of live on the air.
Yeah, I mean, you said that we're kind of mixing them up. We do have the whole of BS Plus competition on the EU side, but they're not all on the same team. On Team Yas, we do have Yas and Alanis alongside Nico, but Sarek has her own team with April and Resume, so it's going to be interesting if they do meet at some point in this tournament today, how that dynamic's going to go. Is it going to get heated? Is it going to get spicy? Or is it just, I need to show who's boss on this team?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of moments, especially in these tournaments, where you log in and everyone, as I said, is taking it kind of smooth. But I find that ultimately, pretty much all these players, if you are getting used to playing in tournaments, the competitive edge starts to come out and you start to, you know, lean forward in your chair a little bit, lock in, and hopefully you can be able to show up for your team, because you don't want to disappoint them. And therefore, we're going to get into our first best of 5 quarterfinal. Only going to have one quarterfinal shown, but Team Bales, Team Steven, we know they're going to put up a show.
Yeah, definitely. I'm really looking forward to this one. I mean, all the quarterfinals that are on today are really exciting to me. I wish we could watch them all, but we do have to pick one and run with it, and it is this one. I'm really excited to see how this goes, how everyone's going to adapt, because obviously we do have a little bit of a spice up in skill level. Like you said, 2 players from Team Bales are from the CRL side of things when it comes to Rocket League. Bailey's just a content creator. She's here for the vibes. And then obviously Team Steven on the other hand, you know, they are definitely very more competitive. Can't say much about Neon, I'll be honest. I don't know much about how they play, but I'm just looking to see how they adapt and kind of leverage themselves with the different types of play styles that they'll bring with their skill level.
I think the biggest struggle I've noticed in a lot of these events is figuring out the pace that works for everyone, because obviously you have some players who are playing at the RLCS level, playing at a really high SSL lobbies, and they can play as fast as possible. They can just go with reckless abandon into pretty much every challenge. The difficulty is if you actually play too fast, it kind of throws your rotation off, because no one can join you upfield. They can't predict your movement as quickly. So I think that's usually the thing whenever we have these mix 'em up captain's draft types tournaments, is that you have to really carefully balance, okay, unleashing your best players and let them do what they do versus also making sure everyone's kind of on the same page and coordinated. So that's at least what I'm looking out for in game number 1. But for everyone else, you can look out for some spectacular high-flying action like Neon getting a reset and almost an immediate goal. Cloudy off the bar, so clearly don't have to wait long, Jordy, to be able to get right into the action.
Yeah, I know. The aggression from Team 7 already is kicking off. This could be the competitive side that I was talking about earlier, kind of spring into action. But, well, I mean, Team Bills has looked like they've held their own for the time being, and it's just seeing how long it lasts before one of these find their way in the back of the net, or if they just stay true to themselves here. As Gyro takes the ball, trying to control it. Bailey to his right. Does get flicked over, actually soloing, but doesn't quite get it in the net. But just by the skin of their teeth, but that seems to be the first goal for Neon on Team 7. What happened there?
That's so cruel. Gyro actually sets up the delayed pre-flip, the Evo flick, to be able to get that one, aiding in that first defender. Tragically, it is wide, but even more tragically, off the post, immediate counterattack, and that's that coordination. You can't teach that awareness from Team Steven, getting that goal on the goal line, but immediately finding the outlet pass and finding that one open slot to be able to put it right down and in. Speaking of, though, off the ceiling, nearly a combination, but not quite going to connect.
And that one's going to sting as well for Team Bailey, because, you know, it was so close to going in, and then all of a sudden it's in your own net, so it's a bit unfortunate, but not too bad since it's only just been the first minute or so of game 1. This is a best of 5. And, yep, Hero said, you know what, that's enough time for it. Let's even out the board.
You're just hitting the gym, getting 100% of that 50, just muscling through that ball, dunk straight into the ceiling. And as third, you kind of just put up your hands, or rather just put them down, your controller down, wipe off your hands, say, all right, well, literally nothing I can do about that. I cannot predict that bounce.
Well, as we get on here for game 1, we have still the aggression coming out from Neon here. And Neon's really been pushing it, Team Bills to their limits. But so far, it's been pretty fine with the defense. Gyro there having to make a last-second save. Cloudy's going to collect it on the sidewall, going to take control, gets it past Hira, drops it down for Steven, but Gyro again on the defense, but can't do it. Third time the charm. Neon again. Second goal for this game.
And really well worked by Cloudy. Just be able to put that one in the danger area. Steven doesn't actually really have to get it through the goalkeeper. They just need to force a weird save. And you can see Gyro tries to pre-jump that. I think trying to hit that to the far side, but because it's right at his car, he's kind of just forced to cough it right back up into the middle. Really well worked by Team Steven, but also, as you mentioned, the teamwork. It needs all 3 players to break through the defense sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, all of the team play right now is going as expected, but Neon's going to pass that back to Sophie and try and shoot again just off target. They're really struggling on this defense, getting this ball out. That's their main issue here. They really need to try and figure out how to get this ball past Team Steven because they're being so aggressive. They've been non-stop on defense the entire time, I think, and they could be utilizing their plays a little better. Like I said, Bailey's probably going to be the lowest rank in this lobby, although she is, I think, about Champ 2 or Champ 3. You know, she could be getting a little aggressive in there, trying to, you know, mess up the rotations of Team Steven, but, you know, maybe that's not something that she feels confident in, as well as Neon here is just trying again and won't stop. This seems like it's going to be a rough series for Team Bills.
Ultimately, I think, as you mentioned, even if you are a lower rank, the biggest thing is just making sure that you are in the rotation enough to be able to cover those gaps. But when there are gaps, it seems like Neon, as you mentioned, always the one that actually finds them and is able to take advantage.
Yeah, Neon here is really putting the work in to make sure that they are staying on top in this game 1. 3-1, 2 minutes 14 left, and yeah, Team Billy haven't had much offense. I do think that they can come around. It could just be game 1 jitters, you know how it happens with these games. For example, a few of these players might be a little rusty. You know, there's not a lot of competitive opportunities, especially for the creators and the women's side. So shout out Radiant, thank you for this, because you're really proving the point that the women can get it done. Look at that, Cloudy, 4th goal for Team Steven.
Super clean first touch as well. Even with no more boost in the tank, she's able to just let that one go. Poor Bales not only has to get that save on the counterattack defense, but also had to pretty much deal with being cyberbullied on the back end. There was a bump attempt trying to go on through. So clearly no mercy in the Team Steven dojo.
Yeah, and, you know, time's ticking down here. Could just be, like I said prior, a little bit of a warm-up situation here. It seems like Hira and Gyro and Bailey kind of need to find their footing a little bit better, because it just looks like Team Steven are just so confident in this game. And, you know, once they get that momentum going and the series progresses, it's going to be really hard to kind of bring that back. So still confident in Team Bailey in this game, but, you know, it's just trying to play the game out, try and understand the team dynamic a little better here as the game starts coming into the later half.
Yeah, I find a lot of players, as you mentioned, the warm-up is a really accurate term, because in the previous day you're saying, yeah, it's group stage, you know, you got like multiple, not necessarily lives, but you got a couple games to get into. Also, you're playing a mix of skills, and then you realize on the Championship Sunday, you're like, oh wait, actually we're playing the best teams from those multiple that we're coming across from NA and EU, so we definitely need to be careful. And the NA side here definitely getting a brutal wake-up, even if it is, I suppose, middle of the day for them, still waking up perhaps.
Yeah, and even like, maybe this is EU bias because I am obviously EU as well, but I personally think that EU, the consistency of some of these players from EU is so strong that I do think that for this series, for example, that Team 7 are the stronger team, maybe even be the favorites to win in this series. But I do believe that Team Bailey can kind of pull it round, maybe at least give them a bit of a challenge, because, you know, the potential of these players is there. It's just finding that footing and get running with it.
I do like the slow build up there from Team Bales. Nearly got that one to work, and instead it's going to be a counterattack and a lot of demo smoke having to be cleared. So nothing going to be happening, at least on the far end. But you can see Gyro and Hira both trying to be high flying, create awkward opportunities, and it's the captain going to come up with a goal, at least to boost the morale near the end.
Definitely, and that's going to boost Bailey's confidence as well here, obviously. Knowing that, you know what, I can score those open nets. They aren't a problem for me. I can help out. And, you know, maybe game over, 15 seconds left. Not the best game one, but yeah, like you said, a lot of motivation going into game 2 here, because they know that they can get around Team Steven. They just need to keep it consistent and make sure that they don't lose possession throughout this series, or else, you know, it could go Team 7's way very, very quickly.
Yes, and this game wasn't necessarily quick, but there was certainly a lot of goals flying left and right, mostly in the Team Steven direction, as we mentioned. Hat trick from Neon of 11 shots, getting it done, what we like to see in the first game. And we mentioned warm-ups. This is the only warm-up you get, because this is best of 5 still. It is the final single elimination championship bracket, but you don't have the full best of 7 like we're going to see in our grand finals. I think Team Bales needs to be acutely aware of this. You don't want to have to start your day with a reverse sweep.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, they're doing their best here, but I do think that they are stuck on defense. Hopefully in game 2 we will see them come out of their shell a little bit more, maybe find a good way to kind of maneuver around Team Steven, but we'll find out obviously when that kicks off. I'm very surprised at how that game went, with Bailey getting that goal too. Obviously that's going to be good for them in how they progress, because, you know, like I said, they're gonna have that motivation come in. They're gonna, okay, we can score against these guys. It's pretty easy, it's pretty simple. We just need to figure it out as a team, and I'm assuming that their communication's gonna be there as well, especially with the experience from Gyro and Hira. So I'd like to think that there's no miscommunications going on. It doesn't seem like there is. They seem very well rotated in defense. It's just, they're just maybe not quite getting the challenges that they need to avoid the pressure that Team Steven's putting on them.
Yeah, absolutely, and especially in that game 1, the one thing I also want to point out is we talk about these are pickup teams, so you kind of have to get the chemistry down. You really only have like a handful of days and or series to even figure out how you are going to work out together. But Team Steven, well, that's 5 goals in game 1, all of them assisted. First one almost come from Team Bales off of a nice clean infield play, but fortunately no stat will come from it.
I've seen a wee bit too many times there, that ball hitting that post, and that's gonna suck, knowing that it's almost in the net, but just not quite. But I get that'll give them the drive to try. When they do get that goal, it's going to be very satisfying. Hopefully we see that soon. We would like to see if Team Bailey could take the lead in this game, as they do have a lot of pressure now. Hira looks like she's stepping out a little bit more aggressive as Gyro tries to follow up and keep that pressure in the midfield. And Hira gets a miss there, but Bailey is able to send it to the side wall. Definitely coming out further from their side of the net now.
Gyro really well done on that first 50. Unfortunately, couldn't jump in time for the second one. Neon, I think, faking that one and actually successfully completely destroying the minds of the defense.
Oh my goodness. After all that I said, I definitely ate my own words there. Neon there with the fake, and Steven just a little bit too awkward there for Bailey to try and read. Yeah, just floats right into the net there. 1-0 to Team Steven.
It can be a difficult one to be able to react to, and honestly, one of my favorite things to do when you're trying to set up a play and you know it doesn't have the speed to beat the defense, just kind of jump near it, float near the ball, and even if you don't make contact, it is definitely going to make the defense have to second guess how they actually are going to approach that one. So a rough first goal to go through, especially as we mentioned with that post hit. Speaking of, I think preventing a post hit, but a double commit means that Team Bale's a bit frantic around the back end, but for the most part, they're surviving, maybe not thriving quite yet, off sealing another chance. Gyro, luckily, is ready for that one.
Clowney here is going to take it up into the air. Plays it slow off to Neon, who's going to try and wrap round, but doesn't quite have the momentum, so Hero's going to take it. Low boost, Bailey cuts. Goes into the orange side of the half, but Cloudy able to clear that off. Just to the midfield, though. Gyro's going to flick it over. One into the midfield. No one there, and a big demo off the backboard. Neon is going to score it. No problems here. Smooth as can be. 2-0 for Team Steven.
And honestly, it has to feel so nice to have a teammate where, you know, oftentimes when you're trying to pick out a pass to someone, you're like, okay, I want to put this right in front of you, perfectly in your stride so you can get the perfect contact. But other times it's just like, Indiana, I'm just going to slap it anywhere upfield. If you're near it, you can score it, right? And it's like, nope, no problem. Right into the net, off the backboard. Gyro trying to do the very same thing, but Neon looked like they came fully prepped for that encounter.
Yeah, definitely. That was a really good play as well from Neon, but Gyro's trying to get a goal for his team, as he does. 2-1 here for Team Bailey. Manages to sneak one in there. Manages to get a good pop over Steven. And a nice clean shot. Just not quite ready for that, Cloudy.
And that's Two's Demon in Gyro. Plays a lot of that playlist specifically for challenges like that. Sneaking in from the blind side, getting a cute little flick over. No teammates required. Might need him on this one as he has to pre-jump that shot. Going to be well wide, but man, how deflating would that be? Get your goal, bring it back to one goal, and then it's right off the kickoff as I say that, not the dunk.
Oh my goodness, Neon cannot be stopped here. Gyro completely caught off guard. Bailey not with the best 50 there on the side. And it just goes flying right into the net. Gyro just, again, not ready for it. Puts Team Steven into that lead. That's just that little bit more. It's not going to be feeling good for Team Bales right now. Neon again is able to do such a tanky 50 and gets a fourth goal.
And it's difficult. When it rains, it pours sometimes, and off kickoffs, Neon plays that so well. Knows that Hira is in that awkward situation where you have to close it down immediately. You have to get on that 50 immediately, so therefore, just jump up, turn your car, let the 50 rebound off of you, and it'll roll directly into that net. Granted, kickoff's not always going their way for Team Steven, but even on that reaction, great up for that first challenge, and leading to yet another, what I thought could have been a shot, but a little bit wide this time.
You can definitely see the confidence as well coming out from Team Steven there. So Sophie on the backboard of the blue team, again, trying to maybe reciprocate what Neon did previously in Game 2. And yeah, you can definitely see that they're not nervous about this series at all. The confidence is growing, and that's almost a fifth goal, is it? No, it won't. Yes, it is! Sophie, she's done it. Fifth goal. No problem there. Just straight diving in there. There's full confidence. Don't think Gyro knew if she was there or not, but it doesn't matter. It's in the net.
Ultimately, I think that is just going to be having to read your angles and trusting in your reads. Steven coming off the sidewall, and she has 100% of that read on the 50, but then even then you mentioned Gyro saw it getting near the post. Is that going to bounce off the post? It's going to roll slightly wide, and Steven's like, nope, that's going directly into the net because I know exactly where that's going to go. Pre-jumps it, gets that goal, and again, just stamping their authority down on this series is our orange side.
Yeah, I mean, and honestly, if it's working out for you this well, the way Team Steven are playing, you might as well try and play with that extra confidence, because there's nothing stopping you as Gyro tries to do that. And Hira, but again, they're just not meeting the net. They're getting so close. They are getting these opportunities to put the balls in the net. But yeah, they're just that little bit off, just not quite the accuracy that they need to kind of keep this game as in a closer sense.
It's one of those frustrating aspects of when you don't have a lot of offense sometimes, or when you're trying to form shots from really difficult angles. You kind of have to go for really awkward ones. So on that one, I understand here not being able to get that shot because they have to come from the middle, around the side of the ball, and then get it in. So otherwise, you could just be gyro and go for the musty setup actually off the backboard. No double tap to be found, and maybe even a punish if this 50 goes their way. Thankfully, to the corner. But with 30 seconds to go, this is quite the uphill battle to hike.
And that hill is steeper than Mount Everest, I won't lie. This has been a bit of a bullying session for Team Steven. I don't know what's going through Team Bales' mind. Hopefully they're staying positive. That's what we like to think. Hopefully they're not taking it too badly. And yeah, with these last 10 seconds as we come down to the end of Game 2, yeah, I think Team Bales has a lot to think about here and how they're going to switch it up. They're going to have to reverse sweep. Do you think that's possible, or do you think this is easy as pie for Team Steven?
Well, ultimately, playing as well as they are this year is going to get credit for that goal, as the 0-second kind of fun goal you just give your opponents. I think ultimately every reverse sweep is possible. The biggest issue, I think, when you are in the situation that Team Bales is in, is that, okay, clearly the offense is leaning very heavily on you. You're struggling to get the ball out, and it's about really just focusing on one at a time. Sometimes if that just means you have to fully dedicate yourself to just playing really stiff defense, making sure that you have nothing through, you don't need to win the game by 5 goals, like scoring 5 goals like your opponents have. You just need to get 1 goal up and over your opponents, and I think that's kind of the hardest thing. You start from the back, focus on your defense. If that starts working out, then you can slowly hope for an overcommit, something you can take advantage of, a demo, what have you. But definitely a lot easier said than done. They're getting under fire right here. Double-digit shots for another game from Team Steven.
Yeah, and I hope to see that when Game 3 starts, that we do see a little bit more come out from Team Bailey. I've said it before a few times, but the potential of them making this more competitive for this series is very likely. I do think we see Bales there with 48 points. Ooh, bit rough, but I do think she could utilize her skill a little bit better there, maybe being more aggressive, maybe going for more demos, trying to disrupt the plays essentially, because I think that when it comes to these series and these tournaments, the speed of the game is pretty fast, and especially when you're on the lower end of ranks of the tournaments, you really kind of get overwhelmed with everything, and then you feel like you're not doing much. I'm speaking from experience. It gets very, very stressful, and then you kind of like black out a little bit because you don't know what you're doing. You're like, oh, I can't do anything that's too fast. But I do think that Team Bales could bring it back, maybe keep it close for this game, but it's going to be hard to see that happen, especially with these score lines being so distant.
Especially with touches that clean. I love that challenge from Bales. Problem is, it's a follow-up that needs to be dealt with. Gyro to Hira, bit of a double commit, but that's just double the chance that you're going to get a save. Let's just say that, and that's at least an aspiring start that they can get up to, especially with another immediate challenge from Hira. And I like the speed of pace that we're at least getting introduced to here in Game 3, so in the first opening, I would say, bouts of this game.
Yeah, and so far so good. It's been a little bit back and forth this game. Bailey's going to try and go for that challenge, but Sophie too fast here. Bit of a mistouch from Hira on the backboard, but Gyro is there to clear it away, and he's going to push it all the way to the orange side. No boost though, and Cloudy does beat to the ball, and they're able to counter that very quickly. Now Hira, demoed, isn't able to follow up, and even though they're getting that pressure, it still seems like Team Steven just have that control just that little bit more, or just in those spots at the right time to prevent anything being created out of Team Bales plays.
Bale's going to get that 100 and then immediately potentially using that one. Cloudy's going to back off. Gyro playing for that close angle 50. Nothing happening from a corner. Hira thinking about going in. The pass middle actually expertly made. Completely cuts across the pressure. No one on our blue side can predict it. Therefore, Gyro trying to rescue everything. Goes low past 2 players, but also past the post.
Oh, it's going to feel so frustrating knowing that ball is just dangling in front of their net, but it's just not going in. And then before you know it, it's just flying into your net almost, and you got to scramble back and make sure that you don't jeopardize the game or lose the lead at any point. There's Neon always tries to sneak that into the bottom left of the blue net. they're going to have to do a little bit of defense work now. Hira off to the side, grabs the boost, isn't quite able to get that ball off Neon, so Gyro's going to have to boom it out. Sophie is there, will catch it, gets a good 50 off, gets in front of the net, but Bailey able to be there fast and clear it away. Isn't much of a follow-up though.
Oh no, 100%. It's tough to be able to, yeah, we're getting in front, but you got to get it out of your half. And right now you can just see kind of those midfield rotations coming in from our orange side. It's only a matter of time before someone has enough time in the air. Might as well be the captain.
Yeah, I mean, Sophie, great player. Has those mechanics, able to maneuver that ball as effortlessly as shown. And yeah, quite comfortably getting that into the net. 1-0 to Team Steven.
So therefore, that is now starting the timer for Team Bales. Got to get something together in the next half of this game. Otherwise, the series could be done and dusted. But right now, I don't think that Team Steven is really going to be too worried about it. At this point, it's not really about scoring any more goals. You just have to make sure you're keeping the pressure, keeping your defense somewhat clean. And so far, it seems like they're doing more than well enough on that one, despite technically a giveaway. Gyro can't control well enough.
Yep, and there's Bailey last back there, but able to sneak that ball away from Neon. Gets a nice big clear. Hira goes for the shot, but Steven there is there to save it. The pressure's coming out now from Team Bales, and they are able to try and keep this ball away from Team Steven, even though they are getting bits of possession here and there. But now, 2 minutes left. Gyro with a big 50 off the ceiling. Doesn't get a follow-up. Sophie takes it first. Bailey, big boom. Hira last back. She does catch it in time. And now the instant challenging comes again. Back in defense. Are they going to crumble? Are they going to make sure that no more goes in? It's so close. And Neon, they manage to get 2 for Team Steven. The light is dying for Team Bales. What do you think they need to do here in order to try and bring this back? Or do you think it's a lost cause?
At a certain point, I think I'm always a fan of, if something's not working, go for some demos. Just start sending someone at the other players, disrupt the rotation, provide some openings. But I think it's so hard because when you are playing a team this confident as a Team Steven is doing, Sophie's got these guys dialed in right now in terms of how they want to play, how fast everyone needs to rotate, how much boost they're stealing. And so with all that said, you need some saves, obviously, but also you need to convert on some of these counterattacks. Maybe this is one of them. Gyro in the middle, but with no boost here, trying to find that pass all the way through. In fact, finds herself off the backboard. We need the captain, but Bales just can't find enough boost.
Yeah, it looks like they're all low boost there in that play, and there's another shot coming out. Open net. Neon cannot be stopped in this series. Every game so far, they've came out on top, just being in the perfect position, the perfect play, the perfect shot, and they are just nail after nail in the coffin here for Team Bales. 1 minute left. It's not looking good.
And so difficult to be able to get into the rhythm of the game, especially because the more goals get scored, or at least in the match point games, the desperation kicks in and makes you play even more frantic, and obviously that is not the problem for the other side. Clean little double tap off the infield pass. All three getting involved.
Yeah, I mean, Team Steven, you can't, there's no notes. They're playing absolutely phenomenal, and yeah, it's like they have no lack of confidence in this series, and it does show here. They're very comfortably taking the lead, taking the games, and they just keep going. They don't stop. Fun fact about Steven while we come down to the end of this series, because I do think that this is a pretty confident win here for Team Steven nearing the end of this game. She is a very, very competitive player when it comes to these games. She always wants to keep going. Doesn't matter what the scoreline is. She wants more. She wants more, and she wants more. And that is just showing so well in this series.
Yeah, the filthy stat padding. It's the behavior that exactly no one can resist sometimes. It's like, hey, we already won, and just frothing at the mouth. They're like, but I don't have 5 goals yet, so it's never truly done.
Yeah. But it's a great confidence thing as well, though, knowing that you have that mindset. It's very good determination, and it helps progress you even further in these types of tournaments. And that's why Steven, for example, is one of those players that have been so consistently at the top in the women's scene for so long. Like, that's what you need. And you know, coming into this tournament, it's a mix-up team, you know, new players having to adapt and everything, and it's a good experience, but it also allows you to keep that confidence up, knowing that no matter what team you're on or who you're playing with or what the tournament's about, you can keep consistent like that and keep your confidence strong. And I mean, the series shows for itself here, Taco. It's 6-0, and it's a nice 3-0 sweep here for Team Steven.
Yeah, really well done. And as you mentioned, that mindset, that grind set even, I was going to say, it's almost like German, like how a lot of the German teams are dialed in. And then I realized, actually, no, our captain in Team Steven is actually Scottish, and the teammates, Cloudy and Neon, are both German. So in a way, there is kind of something that goes along with that. Regardless of, the ethnic background, at least, this team is dialed in. They look so clean. Team Bales, GG's, fortunately, just going to have to wait until next time.
Yeah, I mean, that was really, really, really one-sided. It's really unfortunate because I did think that it was going to be a bit closer just based off the experience of the other players on Team Bales. But yeah, it just wasn't quite enough for that series. I mean, Team Steven just so well coordinated with one another. And yeah, Neon, wow, what a series from them. They played absolutely fantastic.
It's exactly what you want from the players that you're able to pick up for your squad. It's just being able to say, like, okay, we just need you to, be able to do your best, try to get as many goals, and then it's just like bang, 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 everything you throw towards them. And it's like, all right, well, clearly that worked out well. Good to be able to put your faith in a player as a captain and see them reward you with tons of stats and just being able to take care of everything. But honestly, these are kind of pickup squads, and yet I am shocked just how coordinated Team Steven looked. Definitely a team that if you are on their side of the bracket, you are not excited to play.
Yeah, I mean, they did so well, but they do progress to the semifinals now, where I do think some of the other quarterfinal matches have concluded. We do have Team Yas sweeping Team Miss Macho. So yeah, some EU dominance going on here, and I do think, if I'm looking at it correctly, Team Sarek also won their match, and so they're actually sitting in the semifinals for Team Steven. So 3 EUs so far. I think the 4th match is still ongoing. What are your thoughts on that one?
Ultimately, man, it's tough though, because you instill in me that Miss Macho result, and I was like, that was actually a team that I was kind of rooting for. I thought that was going to be the team that could go pretty far, but unfortunately, EU comes in, as mentioned in the chat. GC says, looks like Courtney has to save NA again. But regardless of how all those storylines are going to go, we're going to throw all y'all to a quick break and then maybe tune into some teams that are still ongoing on there. So please do not go anywhere else. This is the Radiant Invitational right here on the Radiant Twitch channel. See you on the other side. Welcome back, everybody, to some more of the Radiant Invitational. We just saw our first matchup, and quite the matchup, at least on paper. At the end of it, seemed like Team Steven able to take care of business along with Cloudy and Neon, so we're going to be able to talk to them a little bit later on. But, Jordy, we have a bunch of players streaming their perspective, and luckily that means we can listen in a little bit to see how they are going through this, how the comms are feeling, and just the vibes in general, because that is the linchpin of victory.
Okay. There's 3 behind demo. Yep, nice. Keep going. 1 up now.
I leave.
Nice.
Go on.
Oh, Steven.
Nice.
Let's go.
I clipped on gyro.
She has. Go bomb.
I mind you.
Also.
Yeah.
Yellow.
Nice. Double Steven.
Double?
Close
Oh,
out.
Open. Nice.
Good pass.
Good
Yeah,
pass.
I'll take it.
Yeah.
Got it now.
Nice, good job.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's in.
Nice.
Whee!
Whee! I tried to poke at the end, but it did not work.
I love that line right at the end. I tried to pogo, sadly. Yeah, you're not going to get your clip all the time, but it's nice to see that, you know, the comms, they're clean, they're professional, what you'd expect from high-level players, but also more than willing just to hype each other up and just laugh at some of the goofy stuff that rolls on in.
Yeah, they definitely have some fun in that series. They're giggling with one another and just having a good time, and you know, that's all you want, right? That just shows that they were in a good mindset, and yeah, they were just really comfortable, to be honest, weren't they? And I mean, it would be great to hear some thoughts directly from the team captain of the winner of the series there, Sophie. We have, hello, how are you?
Hello. I'm good. How are you?
Yes. Well, how are you feeling off of that win there? 3-0. Very confident from you guys. We heard some listen-ins there. You guys seemed like you were giggling and having a good time. What was the dynamic there for the full thing? Were you guys confident? Did you kind of know that you were gonna kind of be the more favorited team going into that series, or what was the mindset?
We were pretty confident, but they're obviously a good team, so just trying to do as well as we can and have a good time.
And from that, I mean, obviously this is a captain's type situation where you're trying to look through. When you were looking at the crop of players, Cloudy and Neon kind of pick up as like, those are the players I definitely won, or is this just like a nice coincidence that you guys were able to fall together and work so well?
I got DM'd being like, can you be captain? I was like, sure. Then I went to bed. Then I woke up and I had Cloudy DMing me. So, and she was like, I'll get Neon. I was like, okay. And then that's how that happened.
Nice. So it was just like a little bit. If you want to be on my team, yeah, sure. Okay, cool.
Yeah, it
Sounds
just
great.
happened.
I mean, yeah. And you mean it looks like you guys were pretty comfortable playing against each other. Is this like a? You can tell it was confidence as well. Like you guys played fantastic. Had some really nice shots there. We did see you get a nice flip reset around gyro. You claimed you clipped on him. Fair enough. How do you feel about that? I mean, that's got to be a confidence booster progressing into the semi-finals.
Yeah, it was good. I mean, Gyro used to be one of my favorite players like years ago, so that was very fun to play against him. Obviously, I know known Bailey for years as well, so fun to play against them.
Well, you are going to be progressing into the semi-finals up against Team Sarek, obviously another EU team. How are your thoughts on that going into the next match?
They're good. It should be a good game.
Are you looking at anyone? Oh, sorry,
Yeah,
my bad.
No,
I'm
you
getting
asked
carried
the
away.
exact. You asked the exact question I was going to ask. Yeah, is there anyone in this bracket that you saw and you're like, okay, that's going to be the problem. That's going to be the one hurdle that we have to get past.
I thought Paige, Macho, and 5-Up would be really good, but I think they lost.
That's
They
insane.
did. They lost to Team
Yeah.
Yas, actually, who is also sitting in the semi-finals, but on the other end, a potential opponent if you do make it to the grand finals. What are your thoughts on that? Do you think that there's an EU team that you're worried about now? Or do you think NA's out of the question?
I think Sarek's team's the best other team that aren't us.
Well,
That's probably what I'd go with.
it's going to be exciting then, because you aren't going up against them in the next series. And with all that, good luck. Anything else before we proceed here, Danger Zaco, or?
Yeah, honestly, I just want to give you the opportunity to shout out anybody, give you the floor before we let you go back to your team and prep for the next round.
Shout out Cloudy for DMing me.
There you go.
That's about it.
Bringing it all together.
Yeah.
Very nonchalant. Thank you so much, Steven, for coming on there for that quick post-winner interview. Apologies,
Thank
I
you.
lost my wording at the end of that. I blank out sometimes, but it's because so much is going on and it's all very exciting. And yeah, Team Steven up against Team Sarek later on today. But I do think the next match that we're going to be having is going to be is it Team Yas? I'm not sure. My page isn't updated.
We got at least one of those semifinals. That is a guaranteed, because we're doing both of them before the Grand. So at the very least, we'll throw it to a brief break. We'll be back with exactly the matchup we are going to be covering. But either way, Radiant Invitational keeps on rolling. Great to hear from Team Steven, and we're going to be hearing from more players as it keeps going on, and we'll determine who makes that top 4 and eventually into that Grand Final after this.
Welcome back, everyone. Just came off an interview there with Steven. I'm Jordies. I'm joined by Danger Taco, and we are now progressing into the semi-final stage of this tournament. Have some really fun matchups coming our way here. Let's have a look at the bracket and see what we've got going on.
And so it seems like we do have our semifinals all set and ready. Quesadilla getting able to get the singular game 4 out of all of round 1. Really impressive considering normally when you distribute those seeds around, yes, we do have, I guess, the technical upset in Team Yas over Team Miss Macho. But other than that, all 3-0s is pretty rare. Hopefully we're going to get a bit more of some dicey games in our semifinals. Team Yas, Team Quesadilla looking like one of the first up that we're going to see. And honestly, good distribution of talent. Hopefully NA can pick it up because, you know, EU dominance in the women's scene is nothing, I would say, out of the ordinary.
Yeah, I mean, and that shows here the semifinals, 3 of the 4 EU teams. Team Quesadilla, NA's last hope here. Team Quesadilla and versus Team Yas will be the series that we are watching first in these semifinals. It's going to be an interesting matchup here. Team Yas, we have Yas, Nico, and Alanis alongside Team Quesadilla, which is Flitz, Courtney, and Quesadilla herself. Very interesting matchup here. Very more, I'd consider high level. Seems a bit more balanced. We do have Nico that is on BDS, and Flitz, obviously known in the NA scene as well. Taco, tell me your thoughts about how you think these two are going to match up against each other as our first NA-EU match in the semifinals.
I think this is a really balanced team in Team Yas. Honestly, even though I like Team Miss Macho, I saw this lineup and I'm like, well, obviously we all know how good Alanis is from all the women's events that we've seen. Nico on BDS, maybe not the BDS roster you think of when you think of BDS, but these guys were signed by that org for a reason, making good runs. And Yas, obviously, incredible newcomer into the women's scene. Kind of came in a couple events ago, I would say, in the Radiant kind of sequence of events, and people were like, okay, well, this is a pretty good player. And then immediately hitting crazy clips and like, oh, never mind. They were like, an elite talent. So excellent to be able to see them enter in. But of course, on the other side, being able to have to take them all on is going to be Team Quesadilla, as you mentioned. NA's last hope. Courtney, not exactly what she looks like, but, you know, adorable dog. And that is actually what Flitz looks like. So I'm glad at least one of those PFPs is correct.
Yeah, and this team looks fantastic. I mean, looks like Flitz is ready to go there for this matchup. Great team too, like I said. This is going to be an interesting one with how it goes out. Just tapping back on Team Yas. 2/3 of that team is BS+, so they are teammates on the other side. Do you think that's going to have better chemistry, better communication on their end against Quesadilla, who is kind of a mixed match team right now, where we have one content creator, one pro player, and one female pro player as well?
I think, honestly, this is something that the vibes were really good in Team KSD, and that's kind of the hardest thing, I think, sometimes, is figuring out the rotations is going to be pretty straightforward. Courtney and Flitz, both incredibly high-ranked players within the six-man scene, obviously in the pro scene as well, making deep runs. So KSD, as someone I've watched her, she has been actually a pretty reliable player, I would say, halfway decent rank as well. I mean, she might not be able to brag about that as much. She's fairly humble about it, but I think as long as she plays her role, make sure that she fits into the rotation, it's going to be pretty clean. But my goodness, this EU squad they're going up against of Yas, Alanis, and Nico, it is going to be elite. The rotations are going to be fierce, and they're going to be quick. So I think it's going to be a similar story to Team Bales. If you can control the pace, make sure you're not losing out on all your boost and getting it stolen away, I think you got a pretty good foothold. You just got to hope for your shots to line up and be able to strike when they do.
Yeah, you do not want to be missing any sort of open net or closed open net, any shot in particular when it comes to playing against these European teams. Like you mentioned prior, EU is kind of more of the dominant region when it comes to the women's scene. So it's going to be interesting to see how Team Quesadilla pulls through as NA's last hope for the semifinals. It's going to be a fun one. Like, we don't want it to repeat like we had in the quarterfinals against Team Bailey and Team, I forgot the name already, Team Steven, sorry. Hopefully we don't see a repeat of that. It would be exciting to see a little bit more aggressive gameplay. You know, last series I didn't mention, but not a lot of demos were coming around, not a lot of bumps, you know, pretty passive gameplay in a sense. But here we go, Team Casey versus Team Yas. Yas on the orange, Casey on the blue. Game 1, best of 5. Let's get going.
And another kind of fun fact, I put it in the Twitch chat earlier on, but Yas is actually the sister of Nas, the pro player from our LCS side. So I actually made a tweet about this a while back. I mean, that's got to be probably one of the highest skill siblings we have in Rocket League. Obviously, we're blessed enough to have the Saudi twins in Roas and Clears, but ultimately just really fun to see how some players, you know, those parents, they just got the genes for esports.
Yeah, and I mean, Yas, even though she's the newer player on the scene here over the past year, she plays absolutely incredible, and I'm really excited to see how she plays alongside Alanis. Like I said, that is her teammate on BS+, and then followed up by Nico as well, who is also, I would say, a newcomer into RLCS when it comes to being on an org. You know, big backing behind BDS there, but they're starting off pretty strong on the NA side of things. Here is Flitz, gets a nice shot right into the middle of the net, pretty quick. Don't think Yas was getting back for that one.
And Flitz is a goofy guy. Obviously, anyone can see that when you tune it into his Twitter or on his stream. But also, let's not forget, Rank S player, incredibly good. And obviously, Alanis is as well, because you can't be giving her wide open shots like that.
Yeah, no, Alanis is really good when it comes to aggression, and, you know, she proves it well here. Already up before Courtney has made the miss. She's like, yeah, you know what? Doesn't matter what happens here. I'm going for it, and she gets exactly what she wants, which is a goal. And we're only a minute in, and it's all tied up.
Nico being able to take that one across, and Courtney actually is going to smartly not really bother about that ball, get that boost steal. It doesn't really help though, because Alanis on the other side gets the dunk. Courtney clean it up. Flitz might actually beat up that first player. Can they get back in time? Yes, they can.
Oh, and what a really good jump there as well. That's going to be awkward though, and Courtney is going to be able to find one for Team Casey there. I don't think Yas was prepared for that. It was a good clear here, but Alanis is not able to get a good touch, and actually I think that was an own goal. It's not going to be a good start there, but I don't think it'll jeopardize the confidence of Team Yas there. I think all those players on that team are really good, and I don't think they'll let it strike a nerve if they have any mess-ups.
And ultimately, those deflection goals just happen. You jump in the way. You kind of have to guess at a certain point on where that ball is going to go off the shot. So ultimately, you look at this, say, hey, it's okay. You know, we have something to build from, but it's not like they're desperate. I think the biggest thing you got to focus on is, yeah, you might fall behind, but you can also get it right back. And how about that? The captain lurking on the back post.
Yeah, that is a really nice play there. Just ready for it too. Nico passed it. Nice little touch in. I don't think there was any defenders there from Team Casey that would be able to get that, but nice, great shot nonetheless there. Tied back up again. 3 minutes and 14 seconds remaining here. It seems like we're getting the game that we want, Taco. We're getting a nice close game.
And back and forth, kind of close challenges. The rotations are a bit aggressive, but ultimately you can still see the respect from both sides, where you want to play fast, you want to get right in their face, but then several times there's an air dribble starting and saying, that could be dangerous, and everyone kind of backs off and tries to turtle up into defense. It's about those teams, those calculated risks, who's going to dive in and risk it all to be able to get that chance to go ahead.
Yeah, and this Nico here is going to try and get 50 against Flitz. It's going to go flying to the side, but Yas there to collect it. Gets it off the sidewall. Alanis trying to follow up there, but just a little bit out of reach. Courtney going to double it into the orange side of the half. Yas there on the backboard, ready to collect that ball. Is going to air dribble it. I think that's open, and that is exactly what it is. Yas with the third goal has now taken the lead here in game one.
That's a tough one. Is it Yas actually gets that 50 off the back wall and then immediately circumvents Flitz. I think Flitz was 100% on the idea that that's going to go high in the air. It's going to be a lob. It's going to be a deflection. And then unfortunately it just goes straight down the middle. He can't recover in time, but two players on Team Yas able to get back just in the moment to be able to flick that one home. So that's going to be a rough one to give up. And a game this close, as we've seen back and forth, the worst kind of goal you can give up is just the open net.
Yeah, I mean, it's also the hardest one to score too. We have seen plenty of times when it comes to these competitive tournaments. Sometimes it just gets too much for some people, including myself. That's why I didn't participate. I didn't want to do myself dirty like that. But, I mean, these teams are showing what they're worth here in this series. Very aggressive now coming round from Team Yas as they have taken the lead. They're trying to find their fourth, but Casey is just able to clear that one away. Nico has to retreat here, but does have a full tank here. Is going to carry it. 50 it with Courtney. Alanis sneaking in there to collect it, keep that pressure going, but Flitz just there in time, able to control that ball and keep it away from their net.
Oh, this read. Oh, I saw the pre-flip dialing in, and yet it's not in. Neither is the next one. So on the counterattack, Alanis holding it up specifically because she knows Casey breathing down her neck on that follow-through. Nothing really going to amount to it, but you can tell Team Yas getting experimental with some of these build-ups, and that's got to be even more terrifying for Team Casey, who's already struggling to contain just the ordinary offense.
Yeah, I mean, Team Casey as well are doing a good job getting that ball moving, especially out of their side. I don't know if that one's going to be in, though. Unfortunately for Team Yas, just a little bit off target, but lucky for Team Casey, not a problem for them. They're able to get back into offense here, but not for long, as Nico is going to go in a 1v1 against Flitz. Flitz able to flick that one away. Courtney following up off the sidewall on target, but Alanis able to save that away. Pressure still on. Nico has to do everything he can to defend that ball as it still lingers in front of the orange net here with 35 seconds left to go roughly. Is this going to get tied, or is this game one going to be intense till the end?
Certainly trying to get out of the half is Team Casey, and understandably Team Yas is kind of going back. Nico almost playing like a midfielder role, just trying to police the pace of the game, slowing it down, trying to bait in challenges, and I think it's a really helpful. Problem is you need other people to be on the same page. That's wide open on the far side. A demo, open net, but who else? It's Nico back again to get the save.
That's going to be so close too. As this game comes to an end, it's going to be a bit of a rubbish feeling, but it is only game 1. Plenty more games to come from in this series, but Team Yas taking game 1 there. I mean, was that what we expected? I mean, they all played really well there. Nico, like you said, played more of a midfielder role, allowing Yas and Alanis to kind of step out and get more aggressive, because that's what we usually see, especially from Alanis. She is such an aggressive player when it comes to playing in these tournaments, and I think they all played phenomenally as well. And then we have obviously Team Casey on the other side there. Also played really well there. We have Casey with that save. She's stepping up in her defensive realm. I think we are going to have a really good series on our hands.
Yeah, I think being able to actually get into game number 1 and have it this back and forth is great. But of course, I think Team Quesadilla, if they're me, I'm probably going to fix it in the fact that, man, that was a really good game. I wish we didn't give up that one open net right down the middle, and that just kind of bothers you a little bit. So that is something that you do always have to be a little bit aware of. A lot of rotations, especially trying to keep good offense, is about locking in a team and taking away options. But every once in a while, even if you're saying, well, 99% of the time it's going to go here, I'm going to position myself aggressively on the side wall, and then it doesn't, suddenly it's like, well, it's not necessarily that there's nothing you can do about it, but it's a freak accident that you just got to make sure you lock in, and that does not happen again, because there's only so many mistakes you're going to be allowed in a series like this.
Yeah, I mean, and the mistakes here in this series you can't really make, as you can see how close it was. Alanis did own goal one of those goals for Team Casey. Obviously not deliberately, don't think that was their intention, but it did keep it close and it kept the game, everyone on their toes in the game, sorry. And yeah, I don't think that Team Casey's loss here would have caused any issues. I think that they will still be pretty confident based off of how well they did, especially on when they were playing defense against Team Yas. But yeah, I'm really excited to see how game 2 is going to go.
We have a listen in from some of the teams so we can see really just the progress both these squads are making in calming with each other.
Nice.
Not in.
I'll be middle.
Mid. Yep. Corny maybe?
Got one. It's in.
Yeah!
Let's go!
Nice, Courtney.
Good
Good
pass.
Let's go.
Great shot.
You know me. That voodoo
That's
magic.
able.
Shark bait. Ooh-ah.
I go.
I think it is.
Yeah, around.
Nice.
I need to wait for touch. Around.
Nothing
Round again. Open.
I'm up.
Open.
Nice. Nice. Go.
Nice.
I thought for a minute I missed that because of the lag.
So too.
Oh my god, bro. You don't miss this just. Never seen you miss. I went so
Really
high.
looked like you did.
Yeah, I know.
Oh boy. Well, as we we'll remake the lobby, because as you mentioned, Yasa actually getting that first shot off and thinking that she might have missed that one, but that's mainly because we are playing on, I believe, NA ping for at least the main standard region, since this is NA and EU opponents. So because of that, yeah, there's a little bit of delay, and yet EU still 3 of our 4 semifinalists, Jordy.
I know, I mean, it's pretty dominant on the EU side for this tournament, but Team Casey, they're doing the work. They're trying to prove that NA still got it in the realm of things when it comes to the women's scene in this tournament too. And yeah, it seems that both teams had really good vibes in game 1. A lot of laughing, a lot of joking. And yeah, it does seem like when it comes to the comms that they're very clear on both sides, that they're very communicative, everyone's talking, because the last thing you need is someone going deadpan silent, especially when you're kind of going down or maybe losing the games and stuff like that. You know, it's never fun.
The infamous 6-man sigh. Ball goes in, you just hear just like the deep exhale, and it's like the worst thing for anyone to hear within comms. But no, it doesn't seem like that's a problem. We're hearing some, movie references, at least coming out from Courtney. So they're having fun. They're getting around the ball and being able to generate some goals. But of course, all these players, they are competitors at the end of the day. You don't enter into a 10K tournament because you are just going to be able to say, I don't care where I finish. No, they want to win. They want to keep it close. And hopefully game number 2 going to be just as clean and efficient from both these squads as game number 1. I did like how we did see kind of both teams kind of feeling each other out, going for some mechanical plays, but otherwise trying to rely more on just conventional passing. I think it's really the bread and butter of most squads, to make sure that you can always improvise a new solution if the defense isn't showing you what you want.
Yeah, and I'm really excited to see how the game kind of changes in game 2. Obviously, when it comes to these games, even though we have an experienced team like Team Yas, you know, Casey, she's obviously not a pro or high ranked player. You know, she's content creator. It's a lot of pressure coming in, and you know she's going to be doing her best in this situation. And as she is, they obviously are keeping it close, but hopefully they keep that aggression up and the confidence up as well, because it can really deteriorate, especially if you don't have that good competitor mindset, which all these other players will have in this series. I would love to see how Casey kind of plays out, if she gets more confident and doesn't kind of like pull back if it gets too much, because it's gonna be a different ballpark for her.
Yeah, I think the one thing that everyone needs to remember as well about Casey is that she's been playing in previous iterations of the women's scene, all these different leagues, for a while now, and has really been kind of almost like the hard carry on a lot of those squads, even though she herself will say, well, I'm not like an insanely high rank. Always been really solid player, really easy to play around, and it's the main reason I think why Blitz and Courtney seem pretty comfortable with her, being able to trust that she's going to get those saves, going to be in the right positions, going to be able to, in the clutch, be able to get up for a certain aerial, get deflection, get a 50. So I think it's definitely something you can rely on. It definitely opens up your play a lot if you are that rank S, rank X player like Blitz and Courtney are respectively, being able to just say, okay, I can go for any challenge I want, and I can be a lot more aggressive without everything basically falling apart if I do so. So definitely a nice element that we have to keep in mind with our sole NA representative. But obviously on the other side, doesn't seem like they're really concerned at all on Team Yas's side, because they're all playing super well, pre-jumping each other, going for these passes, and clearly game 1's game plan certainly worked out super well.
Yeah, I mean, with Team Yas too, we did hear a little bit of their comms coming in from one of those listen-ins, and they're coming pretty efficiently. It seems that is based off of their experience, all as players, and I like how they're treating it, because obviously they're taking it seriously. They're like, yeah, I want to win. I want to prove myself that I am the best in this tournament, as I'd imagine everyone else would be feeling too. But yeah, I love that they are communicating in such a professional way as well throughout the game, but still having that element of fun and kind of having a laugh here and there and stuff like that. But yeah, I think it's going to be fun to see how the series progresses out. Like you said, you know, Flitz and Courtney, very established, experienced players on the NA side of things. And then you kind of have Yas, Nico, and Alanis on the other side on EU. It's very fun to see when you have such high status players kind of come in and play against each other in an unexpected way, when you know you've got these mix and match teams, and then you get great series like this. So I would like to think that this series is gonna go to game 5. I don't know about you, but I'd like a game 5.
I think I need to see game number 2. If it is a kind of comeback and it's really close, I could see it happening. But for right now, it's like you see a couple games or a couple series where things start close, but they don't really end that close near the end. So let's just see as we finally do settle into a server. Players are done with their server waffling. Sometimes it's hard to dial it in. Everyone wants perfect ping, and that's just not going to happen when you have cross-region games. So I guess this is the best type of good. It's good enough for game 2.
Yep, and here we go, kicking off here. As Courtney is going to take control of that ball. Full tank is going to pass it down to Yas, though unfortunately does get a 50 from Casey, and Flitz is able to follow that up. Does get a bit of a heavy touch though, so Alanis is able to clear that, and she's going to stick on it. Grabs the mid boost, goes for a quick touch, does get it in the midfield. Nico go for the shot, but blocked away by Flitz. But again, the follow-up lacked Yas there to put that away, even after that bad challenge at the second time.
That's an excellent job from Alanis. I really like how that first aerial, she goes for it, and then halfway through, you can see pivot just to take away that clear from Courtney. Courtney gets dunked in the middle, and then Alanis rotates to the backfield, gets some disruptions on the defense, and it leads that open net. Speaking of open, though, if not for Nico, let's nearly just stealing one away off the cheetah.
Yeah, and whew, the pressure's coming out from Team Yas today. Team Casey is kind of sticking a little bit more on defense right now, as Alliance is going to boom that. Big demo coming out from Yas, but that ball is just going too far away. Nico's going to try and keep control, but Courtney is just there, actually taken away again. Alliance midfield is going to collect that. does get demoed by Casey. Very strong. That's what I wanted to see. That's what I wanted to see in the previous series. I wanted to see demolitions. When it comes to these series, you know, demos always get spoken about as really, really, really good mechanics of the game, and that is how you get a goal. Courtney is able to score from KC because of that demo.
Yeah, I really do like that demo, but also just a soft little double tap almost, just to cushion the ball, keep it close. It's so easy to be able to get around that first player and then just ricochet it all the way down the field, which sometimes takes away your angle, and you don't want to be able to waste any open opportunities like that. Saw some demo play coming out from Team Yas, and apparently it seems like our blue side can answer right back.
Yep, and we are gonna see some more aggression coming out from Yas here, but Flitz gonna send that one to the side. Courtney will collect. Does get bumped though. Flitz able to make that follow-up. Looks like Casey kind of had a bit of a miscomm as she also challenged. That is going to set them back a little bit here as Team Yas gets another goal at scoring on the blue net. And Alanis there goes for the low shot, just too slow. Flitz able to get back in time and save that, but that pressure is still coming on strong. I hope that in Team Casey's defense that it's not going to be too overwhelming.
But with demos starting to arch up, starting to get some dishes. Nico, I think maybe trying to go for a weird angle, didn't catch up to that dish in the way that they wanted to, but either way, it's going to be Team Casey gladly taking that first clear and then potentially buckling in for an elongated defense. But of course I say that, we were talking about miscoms, potentially one right there from Team Yas, 2 players around the ball, no one wants it.
Yeah, and it's just going to be all Flitzes, but Yas is going to try and do some work with it here. It does feel like Team Yas are having a bit more confidence in how they're playing. It does seem like Team KC, are not panicking on the defense, but kind of having that slight fluster, especially when these shots coming out from Team Yas are just firing towards their net here. And yeah, Team KC are going to have work a little bit on their offense and kind of get that ball a little bit more intimidating for the later half of this game.
Yeah, being able to threaten the opponent's net sometimes isn't even always about making sure you have all those shots on target. Sometimes it's just being able to get those close angle 50s. I was waiting for that to be dealt with, and it just really wasn't until the very last second. Still on attack, though, is Team Yas, and still getting some decent challenges. That one's going to go wide, but certainly makes your heart rate flutter a little bit if you're a fan of Team Casey.
Yeah, I mean, that save from Casey was insane. Goal line save, and Yas is just all in her face. But well done to her for keeping that one out. That is going to be a very good momentum booster, especially for Casey here. Because, you know, Team Yas, did you have the advantage? Especially in this play, as Alanis is bumping last man. Yas just gets a free open net.
And this is something that we saw similar to the first game of the series, where there's 2 players trying to be aggressive and then the ball just kind of ricochets out. Yas actually both times being the one to escort that one down the field. But of course, if we learn anything from watching some BS Plus players, they're going to go for a lot of bumps. They're going to be super annoying to deal with. And I think Alanis sees any opportunity to go forward and bump some player, that she's going to be rubbing her hands together, definitely taking advantage of that.
Yeah, and personally, when it comes to demoing people, it does release some steam. So I assume that you know, the players are going to feel good after a demo. It's always so satisfying, I won't lie. I hate being demoed, but committing the demo, it's always a good feeling. So I'm sure that when you get those types of goals, especially knowing that, hey, I got this because I took them out, it's going to be very satisfying here as the pressure comes out from Team Casey, but it's rolling right in. Can they get back? Yes, they can. That was very dangerous there as Team Yas almost had their 3rd goal. And it's going to go flying back to the orange side, but not on target. Alan is able to collect here. Less than a minute here to go. Casey, can they level out the scoreboard?
Ooh, Nico, I had no more boosts. I'm thinking, man, they're really diving at that one. I don't know if they can get it. Not only do they get it, but then they glance up real quick and realize, hey, there was absolutely nobody back in that goal.
Yeah, I don't really know what happened there. I'd assume that, you know, maybe some of the players from Team Casey were pushed up, but yeah, that big boom right into the net. Yeah, Team Yas 3-0, 3-1, sorry. Apologies, Team Casey did get a goal. I'm not blind. Kind of looking like this game is starting to go into Team Yas's favor as this clock runs down. Gonna be a tough one to come back on here for Team Casey and the people watching that are supporting NA, as they are NA's last hope.
Let's trying to carry that torch, but unfortunately going to get shut down immediately. Courtney on the follow-through. Going to be met well by Alanis, and the follow-through from Nico. A well-oiled machine is Team Yas, being able to advance on down. Even if they don't get another goal for the road, it's going to close this one out. Even if this one is going to go in, it's really just for morale and the hype, and there will be none. On to match point. Go Team Yas.
Yeah, wow. What a game there. I mean, it's very, oh, I can't think of the word, I'm so sorry. It's so clear to see that the confidence from Team Yas and how they're playing is showing. And even though, you know, Alanis down there with 112, she's doing the work, she's getting the demos, she's focusing on disrupting Team Casey's playstyle and kind of opening up those plays for her teammates. And yeah, Team Casey, although they're trying to reciprocate that, I have seen them get some interruptive demos and stuff like that to try and counter that aggression, but just not quite enough there in game 2, which now puts Team Yas at match point.
It can be also a highly frustrating aspect of offense. Is the first goal is just kind of a standard offense, getting some shots off, forcing some weird saves out, and then of course you get the kind of ordinary march back. But I think ultimately we're going to see that one play that we kind of saw haunted them in game number 1, where you have players diving in and then it releases the breakaway, and of course that is going to be converted. Alanis, just the cyberbully as she always is, finds herself in a lot of these high-level series.
Yeah, and I mean, they do what they do, and they look good doing it, in a sense that the way that they play, they know exactly what they're doing. And you know, as the more that the games go on, the more confident that they get with it. And yeah, game 3, bit of an uphill battle now for Team Casey as we start this one off. Yas already trying to start off the pressure on offense, but Flitz is going to try and get this one in over Alanis, but Alanis does get a touch to send that off the backboard. And now we have some defense coming out for Team Yas. Can Flitz do anything with it? He's going to take it up off the ceiling. Does try and fake out Nico, but he's not to be phased. He is going to take this one over. Not much boost. Drops it to Yas. Courtney able to block that one away. But the pressure is still coming here, even though Team Casey are doing a great job at defending it.
Also getting up on the offense. All 3 players were just kind of watching the ball around there in the corner. I was getting a little bit worried for Team Yas, but also worried for Team Quesadilla not being able to actually truly get those touches away. Meanwhile, Courtney getting more than enough touches on the air dribble, 4 or 5 before eventually getting shut down.
And Nico here is gonna try and do some damage. Does miss the double though, unfortunately. Not to be too worried about though. 4 minutes remaining here. Yas is gonna collect this. She's gonna try and get around Flitz, which she does do successfully, but no boost. Does get the flick. Top shot. Crossbar down. 1-0 to Team Yas there from the captain herself. What a shot here. What a play. Gets it past not 1, but 2, but 3 of the defenders.
My gosh, that's disgusting. Getting off the sidewall, using that wave dash to be able to get that flick. It's almost like a hook shot in a way. Perfectly top shelf. One of those situations I feel like as a goalie, you're like, don't worry, I have the shot. Oh my God, it just immediately flies right by you. Cannot anticipate that. Really well worked.
Yeah, you're so focused on the game at hand, and then all of a sudden the ball's just flying right over you, and you're like, oh, that's going towards my net. That's bad, and that one is also going to do the same thing, but just about saved away. Alanis going to keep that pressure going on to Yas, but no connection there. Casey getting that counter. Nico is back, though, is able to defend that quite comfortably, and does get it past here. 1v1. Courtney, not a lot of boost to work with. And is it going to go in? Yes, it is. Yas with the second goal. Quite comfortable play there from all 3 took part in this play here, as we have a nice flick from Nico. Alanis with the backboard touch, and Yas to take it home.
And again, everybody involved. And I think that's one thing that we saw from Team Steven last series and then now from Team Yas, where it seems like everyone is flowing together. There's not any kind of hitches in them going forward. Granted, there's always a little bit of hitch on kickoffs if you're not careful, and Flitz is going to make sure, yeah, your teamwork's great, but sometimes I'm just going to give a ball right to my front bumper.
I mean, Flitz has had some great shots, even though some of them haven't quite went in or have been defended, but yeah, I've seen a few of those long shots come out from Flitz. Did catch Team Yas out of touch there. Not able to save that one, but I'm interested to see what else Flitz has up his sleeve here to try and bring this back. But Courtney's going to say, well, enough of Flitz. Let's see what I can do. Doesn't quite get that. But no, 3 minutes. 1 goal differential. Not too much pressure just yet, but that clock is ticking down and that ball is being missed. And I don't know what's going on here, but Alanis is able to save it and actually touch the ball here as Flitz is able to click that.
Oh, Casey rushed that, but the defender also anticipating a faster rate. I think both players were anticipating the other one to hit that, so therefore a little discombobulation. A missed opportunity from Team Casey, but ultimately they have more than enough time, and I suppose some more opportunities. Flit's going to drop on this one. Yas not fooled, though. Good shadow defense can getting back, if only to get a deflection for Courtney to go underneath the first defender. And it looks like it's just going to settle down into the corner as they try to throw it across, but well dealt with by Yas.
What great consistency they had there with their defense. Didn't seem like they were losing confidence in making sure that ball did not go in their net there, and they are able to try and sneak that one in. Alanis getting the third goal for Team Yas. Really nice angle there. Yas trying to get around the corner. Courtney, maybe not the best touch she was hoping for, but Alanis just so quick to get in there and steal that ball. What a great angle. No one in net there to defend that, but I mean, even if there was, I don't think anyone was saving that one. It happened so fast.
It's tough. Courtney, usually a really reliable player, ultra rare mistake, holographic full art, 1 of 1, and therefore you're going to see it. Unfortunately, domino affected some more. Nico getting some help with the lead block.
And shock, it's by Alanis. What a play there. Absolutely taking out the defense. Flitz had no chance. Alanis came down like a nuke. She was not taking that. Oh, she was not dealing with that. She said, you're not defending this today. We're winning this game, and you're going to know that we're winning this game before the game's even over. And that is exactly what they're doing. 4-1. Definite switch up from the start of the series here. Not what I was expecting, especially based off of how Game 1 and Game 2 yet. Clear dominance now shown from Team Yas in this third game. And yeah, I think that's going to be a great confidence booster. Alanis playing really well for Team Yas.
And that's the one thing that we look at from a lot of squads and think about, okay, how do I best help out my team? And obviously it's like, oh, well, you just score, you get shots off, you get saves. But sometimes it's really just about the things that you don't often think about. Yeah, who's going to get in the way and just go for those bumps? Who's going to be able to position themselves to be able to open up these pathways, much like this one, Yas. Easy enough goal. That's the hat trick here for Game 3, trying to lock down this series.
Yeah, and you'll never believe who took him out on the defense. Flitz there getting demoed by Alanis. He's not going to be too happy about that as the series starts, you know, dragging to an end probably for Casey. But Team Yas, they're probably going to be feeling really confident after that. Definitely Alanis on that end. She's just going for more demos. She can't be stopped. That's all she knows, and she does it well. And yeah, 1 minute left. It's looking good for Team Yas. A bit unfortunate for Team Casey as they are NA's last hope. Bit unfortunate. Would have liked to seen a little bit more action come out from them, especially with the likes of Courtney and Flitz on the team, as they are both really well established players in the community. So yeah, a bit unfortunate to see how this one comes to an end for them. But yeah, Team Yas are playing so confident, so comfortably, and so composed, and you can't really say anything else about how it is as the series does come to an end.
Yeah, sometimes you just have to take a deep breath and understand, you know what, just not really going to work out. So hopefully we'll be able to wrangle up some future results, because it looks like, yes, Team Yas clean this one forward. Maybe Flitz can leave with a clip and a half, but no, that one's going to go wide. Even the Courtney follow-up is going to go off the post. Just sometimes the shots just really don't want to fall your way.
No, it definitely didn't work out for Team Casey today, unfortunately. Too many posts, not enough goals, and that is going to be the end of the series. Team Yas able to take that one 5-1. A nice sweep for them to make themselves enter into the grand finals, where they'll be waiting against who will win in this other semi-finals against Team Steven and Team Sarek.
And both players that we know quite a lot of, but of course Yas is almost kind of like an emerging figure in the women's scene, and I think this tournament like this, if this is the first time you're watching her play, then prepare to see a lot more as the women's scene continues to roll out some events. Really well done, getting the nice technically upset victory for a lot of people's expectations against Miss Macho in the first round, but being able to then march right into this one, get another 3-0. I mean, really well done to show just how coordinated they are, and obviously with Alanis getting bumps and Yas and Nico being able to play off of that so well, certainly a dangerous team. I don't care who really plays them in the grand finals. They're going to put up quite the fight in that best of 7.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to be confident going into the grand finals now. But yeah, we're going to throw it to a quick break where we'll come back and get some more insight in how that series went and what's coming up next.
I'll be ready if you can.
Nice. One chase.
Come on.
Take it.
Watch
I'm
out.
waiting for touch.
I'm gonna take a
Yeah.
boost.
Nice, that's
Nice
good.
one
Keep
today.
going. Nice.
Nice.
Nice. Good shit, yeah.
Let's
Come on.
go.
Push up.
Let's
You don't need
go.
us.
I don't need y'all.
Bro, what do you mean?
I'm joking. I'm joking.
I made that possible, bro. Yes. W demo. Where's my credibility? Come on now. One close.
Trying
Watch
to
me.
block it.
No,
too.
stay
Yeah,
on.
I'm going again.
She's there.
I'll go with
Stay
you.
on.
Middle.
Just solo. Nice.
Over. I'm bumping.
Good shit. Post
Yeah.
salve. You can follow.
Nice. Good play.
Nice.
Nice. Good
Oh,
play.
I'm so sorry, Nico. That was actually so risky. Holy shit.
Yeah, it's fine. And the leg made corner.
Yeah, I'll try. Might just be in. Nice!
Nice.
Shark bait!
Okay.
Ooh, ah! Shark bait! Ooh, ah! Ah! Alright, let's go. Ah.
Oh, be careful, girl.
Casey?
Yep.
Can't bump. I got it now.
Stand away.
I can't read.
Good try.
That's okay.
Alright, I'm taking with you. Let's go.
W.
Teamworks make the
Taking
dream.
time.
Oh, I missed the mid
There's
boost.
one chasing too though.
Yeah, you fucking cooked. Oh,
Over.
wait, you're the goat? Wait,
Hold on.
Mustard.
never mind.
Nice.
Wait, you're the goat? Wait, W
Fire
play.
bomb.
Nice,
I'm
Alanis.
trolled by Musty.
Yeah, that was
Nice.
shit.
Like-
That was shit, but she made it look good. You know?
I made that play, bro. That's all me. That's all me.
Yeah, yeah. It's all Alanis.
Welcome back, everybody, to more of this Radiant Invitational. We just wrapped up Team Yas taking down Team Casey, and as we look back at some of the replays that kind of brought us to that result, I mean, really, this is a team that has shown that we are looking fierce in this competition going forward. That 3-0 in the first round, then a 3-0 in the semifinals. I thought these games would get, or these series would get a little bit closer, but apparently some teams, they're just simply better.
Yeah, I mean, I even said to Team Yas, Team Casey, I thought I wanted to go game 5. I was confident. I was like, give me a good series, but Team Yas were just like, you know what? Nah, I'm here for business. We're not dropping a game. Let's wrap it up quick. You know, they're not doing no funny business. But yeah, what a series from Team Yas there, and I'm sure that them sitting in the grand finals, waiting against who they will be coming up next, is gonna give them some time to kind of feel out, see what they're gonna be up against, see how they play, because I imagine they'll be interested to see how the other semifinals gets on too.
Yeah, being able to see Steven and Sarek, I mean, that was actually, when we talked to Steven, it's actually the matchup we were anticipating or talking about, is saying like, hey, who are you kind of worried about? Who is the team that you say? And it's like, well, I think Sarek is actually like the best team. So being able to see them in the semifinal is great, but definitely fun to think about really how these teams are going to match up against each other, especially since in these types of captain draws, sometimes, yeah, you look at it and say like, okay, well, you know, you have some players of like varied skill level and see how they work together. But it seems like from all the teams that we have remaining, from at least now the 3 that we're looking at, everyone is an insanely high level player on all these teams. So we're getting like the highest peak of competition that you could really hope for in a situation like this, which is ultimately what the viewers really want at the end of the day.
Yeah, and All I'm saying, observational. It's all EU teams now. No more any teams in the tournament. They all got knocked out. Team Casey being the last one, unfortunately. But yeah, the skill level of these girls, they are insane. The teams as well, fantastic. Team Yas going to be sitting quite happy in that grand finals. But yeah, I am so interested to see how Team Steven go up against Team Sarek as well. That is going to be such a fun series to watch. And now I can say, I think this is going to be good and we could get a game 5 out of that one.
I mean, that's really all I want. I feel like there's some times where you're like looking as a caster, you're just like, man, can't wait to just really lock in, watch some really solid games. And it's just like 3-0, 3-0, 3-1. You're like, all right, well, eventually we're going to get something. And I don't know. But yeah, I feel like we're slowly like getting closer and closer to that. But at the very least, we are immediately arriving at an interview with team captain of our winning team, Yas, on the line. How are you feeling?
Feeling really good. Really happy about the win. We played really great, so overall just really happy and excited for the finals.
Yeah, I mean, you guys swept Team Casey, also sweeping Team Miss Macho as well. 2 NA teams taken down. You are guaranteed a team up against in the other semifinals, either Team Steven or Team Sarek. Has there been any teams in the entirety of this tournament that you were like, they're going to be hard to beat? Or do you think that, you know, you guys have got that much confidence, you have no worries at all?
I think definitely Team Sarek and Team Steven are one of the hardest that we had. We scrimmed them both and it didn't really go the greatest, but I have faith in my team and I think we're going to do really great against whoever we're playing.
And so when it comes to a lot of these games or series, we talk a lot about it. Well, sometimes you just get thrown together with players and it doesn't really work out super cleanly, or you have to figure out like the personalities and meshing. It seems like it's going pretty well from when we've listened into your comms. I mean, was it a kind of like a weird bumpy path to get to a point where everyone is calming at the right area and timing and it's efficient, or was it just kind of automatic?
I would say automatic. We just had great vibes in the comms. It just went really great. Nothing really to complain about. It was great.
Yeah, and your team, obviously, Alanis is your actual teammate on BS Plus, and now you've incorporated Nico into that team. Do you think you guys kind of gelled quite quickly together, or did it take a few bumps along the way?
To be honest, bumps on the way. Definitely in scrims, it didn't go the greatest. To be honest, I expected so much better in the scrims, but playing now in the tournament, it's just going really great, and yeah, we're really playing as a team, so I really like that.
And congrats on making, obviously, to the grand final. So you've locked up a pretty penny, at least on the prize pools, but of course you have to get past that one final hurdle. Team Steven, Team Sarek on the other side of the bracket. Looking at those rosters, what is your prediction for who you're going to be playing in grand final?
Okay, that's a really hard one because they're both really good teams. But you know what? I'm just gonna go with my teammate. I'm just gonna say we're facing Sarek in the finals. I have faith in her.
There you go. All zebras. That's the grand final. I know Mockfish
Yes.
is in the chat rooting for the whole time. So maybe you could oblige to do that.
Yeah, well, congratulations again, Yas. And have fun chilling out for the next 30 minutes or so while the other semifinals gets underway. Have good luck in the grand finals. Can't wait to see how you guys end up.
Thank you.
Nice to be able to hear from Yas, be able to see a really, really humble response. As I was kind of seeing maybe anyone's going to get cocky, throw some trash talk, but no, just straightforward. Like, yeah, I mean, vibes are great. We played really well. Other teams are really good. I'm going to vote for my teammate, but maybe some bias in that prediction. So maybe not truly genuine if they think that Team Steven can upset, but definitely very excited to see how the second semifinal is going to wind up.
Yeah, and I mean, when we interviewed Steven, she also mentioned that, you know, Team Sarek is probably one of the better teams that they're maybe not worried going up against, but know that it's going to be a challenge. So yeah, it seems like everyone's got eyes on Team Sarek right now, but I think it'll be quite nice to see a full BS Plus competition matchup, because also in Team Sarek, we do have Raziers, who is ex-BS Plus competition as well. So it's like a family reunion all over again. So, but not quite yet. We do have the semifinals to decide the fate of the reunion or not. But yeah, give me some thoughts on the next semifinals that's coming up. What do you think is going to happen there?
See, the thing is that Team Sarek has April and Raziers on that squad, and Sarek has been like a really solid addition to BS Plus. So I feel like I understand exactly why we talked to Steven and said like, hey, what do you think about that series? It's like, I really feel like that team is super solid because clearly we've seen a lot from them as we see all the PFPs of our team representatives. But I don't think there's really ever a fear that Sarek is going to be able to slow up. I think definitely within the women's team, probably one of the most consistent players I've seen. So being able to have that presence as captain definitely makes your job so much easier if you're Raziers or April.
Yeah, and it's the team as well as a whole, all really great players. Sarek and April being, you know, pretty prominent in the EU side of the women's scene. Raziers with all his experience in RLCS 2. I can imagine that the confidence of this team is going to be very, very high, and you know they're not going to have any doubts on how they are going to handle this series, because obviously we do know that Team Steven, on the other hand, is also a great competitor, as we do have the likeness of the same situation here. We have 3 really good, high consistent and confident players that are gonna be going up against Team Sarek. And yeah, I'm excited to see how Neon particularly handles this series, because yeah, the first series in the quarterfinals that they played phenomenally. Are they gonna keep that up?
I think the main thing is that when you are looking at the players as they distribute out, it's typically, you know, team captain, content creator, or being able to have then a women's scene player and then have a RLCS pro player typically be able to find in. Neon is maybe not a name that comes to most people's minds, but still incredibly high-level player, bubble player within EU, definitely making some waves. And certainly in this tournament, they've showed that, yeah, they are just as much of a staple on a lot of these teams as really anyone else. So being able to get all the shots, being able to throw pretty much any ball near them, and they're able to crack one in for a banger goal. So I don't think the concern is really going to be there at all. It's just whoever is coming in on this series, the best possible performance that they can generate in our final best of 5 of the day before we get to that B07 grand final. Team Sarek, Team Steven facing off one last time.
Yep, and it's going to be a good one. I'm excited for it. What are your predictions on how you think this series is going to go? Like, it is both 2 EU teams. I think this is the first series that we will watch today that is EU versus EU, so it's going to be very familiar for both of these teams. Obviously, these players playing against each other quite consistently in previous tournaments. So how do you think this series in particular is going to go, knowing what's on the line, making it to that grand finals?
See, the thing is, I am almost leaning towards Team Sarek just because I think a lot of players have heard about April, specifically because in the previous year, they came in first in the Ally All-Stars event for Europe on Team LM. So it's like an incredibly good performance coming out from April. And so being able to round out that team with Raziers and Sarek, 2 really competitively experienced players as well, I would give them the slight edge. Although the way that Team Steven was playing, they got the coordination on lock. They were pre-jumping each other. They were getting 3-person passing plays. So I'm just hoping for a good series, but I will give it a little bit of an edge to the blue side.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I don't know. Both of these teams in my eyes are incredible. They're so confident in one another, and again, how we've already seen Team Steven play, the confidence was showing. We had Steven on the backboard with Neon doing like backboard plays, redirects, everything that you could think of they were doing. But now that they have a team that they're coming up against that has a little bit higher skill level than the quarterfinal matchup that they have, do you think that they're going to keep up with that type of confidence, or do you think they're going to reel it back and kind of play, okay, we're going to play a little bit more safer because we don't want to make those mistakes? Because, you know, the more confident you play and the riskier you play, the more likely you're to make those mistakes. And I feel like Team Sarek is going to be that team that will, you know, bite as soon as they see the opportunity and put those goals away. And they could humble Team Steven, especially after coming off that win too.
Yeah, I think that's actually the hardest thing, what you just mentioned about playing in some series, is that you can win a series and you're not necessarily like overbearingly confident and saying like, okay, we're going to crush everyone. But sometimes it does result in you playing a little bit differently, but it's very much so when you're playing in a high-level tournament. Even if you're playing a team that you think is even on paper worse or better than another squad, every team plays differently against every other team because the play styles mash, they collide in weird ways. And so therefore, I think the biggest adjustment from Team Steven looking as confident as they did on stream previously is just understanding, okay, it is a new series with different skill sets on display. Let's just take it one step at a time and see how game number 1 works out.
Yeah, definitely. You don't want to be going too overconfident into series, especially when you're kind of up against the likes of either Team Sark or Team Steven. Yeah, you don't want to be overstepping it because you could be too overconfident and you might lose the structure to how you want to play and stuff like that. But seems like so far, 1 minute into game 1, the confidence is still pushing through. Team Steven there was trying to sneak one in on the offense, but Razier, is gonna try and counter that, and not much is made from it. Low boost from all these players on the ball just now, so not much to be made of it. No real intense or intimidating plays coming out, but Steven tried their best off the crossbar, and no follow-up there able for Cloudy, so that's going to be given right back to April.
Really well done on that fake, being able to get that first flick on the delay. Razier's actually tucks it underneath that first defender, though not going to be on target. Steven has different opportunities here, though. Open air dribble with a bump to go. Razier is so patient, waiting out that clear.
Yeah, what really good bump attempt too there. Razier's also trying to get one back, but Cloudy able to get away from that quite confidently. Almost looked like an open net there, but again, Razier's just very quick, very experienced, knows where he has to be at the right time. So that's going to be an even bigger confidence booster as well for Team Sark, because they have that reliability, especially if Razier's is going to be more of that third man or middle man, allowing Sark or April to kind of push out and play more offensively. It could be the benefit that actually gives them that edge.
Razier's into the top shelf, but Cloudy saw that danger, snuffed it out immediately. And I can't say the same about her squad mate, though. Unfortunately, going for a light touch and just under-calculates.
Yeah, that is going to be a little bit unfortunate there for Team... I blacked out on what teams who, I won't lie, they're both EUs. I'm like trying to remember mentally who's on what team there, but yeah, Team Steven fortunately not able to keep that one out. Team Sark do take the lead, might get a second one in, and they absolutely do. April with the second goal for game 1 there, absolutely just pummels it off the sidewall, dusting Steven, and it goes right to the net. No one back in time to defend that one.
It almost looked like April went for that back corner, and then you can see turns inside, then looks upfield, turns back on the ball cam, and realizes, I don't know if Steven's gonna get to that in time. Rushes the play, and what do you know? It's wide open. So yeah, we can talk all we want about how much skill and mechs that these players display, but sometimes you just hit the ball really hard and it works.
Yeah, I mean, if it works, it works. You don't change anything about it, and yeah, they're getting goals from it, so not much to change from that. But yeah, Team Sark, game 1, taking that lead, looking comfortable. As you mentioned, you did think that this team was going to come out on top with confidence, and that is exactly what they're doing. Although Team Steven are doing their best here, they don't look like they're too nervous about how the game's going. Still playing pretty comfortable, trying to get those plays in, but yeah, nothing quite coming of it just yet.
Roller across for Neon. Not a lot of time, but enough to be able to get past the first. How about a second? How about a 50 on the third? But as I mentioned, Razier's consistent as always with those challenges. Neon trying to cut in and rescue this again, but it looks like he's going to have to go through Razier's first. This time, though, he's got no boost. Sarak certainly does. Enough to get that block again, and Sarak's defense doing well to keep Team Steven a really productive team at bay. First series we saw them have, they had 16 goals across 3 games. Right now, they're struggling just to get their first.
Yeah, this is what I said before the series started. You know, the confidence in the quarterfinals that Team Steven had would have came from knowing that the competition maybe wasn't quite what they were expecting of themselves, so they could play more confident. But now, coming into the semi-finals up against Team Sark, they have to respect them. They have to respect them and not be overconfident. And, you know, now these plays that they maybe wanted to do, or maybe that they're trying to do, aren't quite working out for them. And there's a lot of bump plays going on from Team Sark. I have seen quite a bit of aggression come out from the blue team, and it's just comfortable for them. It doesn't seem that at any point they are struggling to keep that ball away from Team Steven or putting it in their net.
Yeah, and you know you got a team in a blender when you do what Team Sark did just a few moments ago. Triple commit basically in the front end, and yet still is able to not only get that triple committed, all commit on the ball, but then recover back without any shot actually being registered on their goal. So they're confident in what they're doing movement-wise, getting their boost away, being able to cover each other. And that is really the mark of a truly great team, is being able to make sure that even when you do stretch yourself too thin, it doesn't actually result in anything too bad because everyone is covering where they need to be.
Yeah, and as we come down to the end of game 1 here, just about 10 seconds left, I'm sure Team Steven don't have too much to worry about at the current moment. It is only a best of 5, however, every game does count, and now Team Sarek, with that game 1, is going to be quite comfortably in the lead.
Being able to get that win and in a clean way, but even led by April. That was a player that I did highlight, really an up-and-comer that we've seen. So a lot of decent contributions in the sense of being 100% for shooting, as well as getting a decent amount of saves as well, just keeping the goal line clear. So I think that's the stat I want to pull attention to, is saying, yeah, Team Sarek, I mean, obviously they got a shutout victory, they score more goals, but also generating a lot more saves. So they were on a decent amount of defense, it just did not break.
Yeah, I mean, that's something that I mentioned, that this team is just going to have such strong communication where they don't feel nervous in any situation. And even though Team Sarek might have been on the defensive side a little bit more in situations, they were able to keep that form up really, really strong. And obviously it paid off there, as they didn't concede a single goal off Team Steven, which is surprising based off of how they were playing throughout the game here. As you can see, the confidence coming out from both. Really good communication and the shots.
Good touch. I don't want.
You can even hear some of these comms here.
Nice.
As open net, they're just not going to celebrate too much. They know that's kind of a gift, and you're never going to truly look away from a gift in a game like this.
No, definitely not. They're very nonchalant about that too. They were like, yeah, nice. We'll take that. And yeah, as these games progress, I'm really excited to see how they play.
So being able to now look ahead and look into game number 2, we are truly underway. Really, Team Sarek looking like the mark of champions, at least in game number 1, but gotta make sure that defense stays strong. Gotta make sure Neon doesn't produce something like that right down to Cloudy. Steven taking her time, maybe to her detriment. It's gonna be seized upon, saved away, follow up right into Sarek, and then right into the midfield again.
That is gonna be a goal for April. Game 2 there, very quickly countered. No boost as well. Maybe a misplay there from Neon, as he wasn't able to actually do anything with that. I think actually messed up on his wave dash. Gave the ball right to April and gives Team Sarek the first goal of game 2 very quickly.
Yeah, it's a tough one, and honestly, I was kind of convinced that that was going to be saved. I think the same thought you and I had was that Neon could get that wave dash, but then I didn't realize that also the other player back also didn't have boost, so timing is not great, and obviously you want a better start than that, but maybe you get some revenge quickly. The bump attempt for Zier so early, rises above it, and still gets that save.
There we go, Steven putting it midfield, but April able to take that one before Neon, because they're all on low boost right now, especially for that challenge. Neon now. Ooh, a little bit of a team bump coming out from April and Sarek, actually. Could be a bit of a miscom play. Lots of bits committing all over, but nothing to come from it for Team Steven, unfortunately, as that ball goes flying back into the orange side. Steven gonna try and take it. Lots of bumps and demos coming out from both sides again. Cloud's gonna try and bump last, and it's in the net. Team Steven, captain herself, Sophie, gets one and evens out the board.
Yeah, being able to see Steven get that cut available, but then actually not really do anything super fancy. Just say, okay, I'm just going to keep accelerating this because we have our lead blocker. Don't need to slow things down and make sure we get the perfect shot. Just make sure it's on target, make sure the defense works for it, and that's what happens.
Yeah, and I mean, we love our bumps here. We love watching them. I feel like when players get that aggression coming out, especially with bumping and demoing, it really puts the players to the test, knowing how they should be positioning their car and knowing what the best challenge is possible, because it's easy just to hit the ball forward and control it, but now you've got this whole new element on top of it, which is, oh my god, I'm getting chased and I need to make sure I don't get demoed and, you know, jeopardize the play that I'm trying to create. So yeah, the aggression coming out from both teams is very entertaining to watch here, as April does try and get a flip reset, drops it down. Doesn't get much action from it, but Razir is able to follow up from the Sarek's backboard pass. 2-1, Team Sarek take the lead in game 2.
Really calculated aggression right here from Razir. Knows that that pass is good and that the sense it's in the middle, but it's not necessarily super clear of the defense. That goal really is only going to come about if he just charges in, dives in, hopes like at the very least he gets a good 50, but it's even better because it's going to go straight through with no contact. Even build from this if Sarek has her way. Nice little deflection right to April. Top shelf back post. Just like that, lead is doubled.
Well, a great position to be in too there. Neon Not getting the best 50 out of Sarek, and just beautiful pass right to April. Just so quickly there, going from one player to another on Team Sarek. That I don't think Team Steven were quite prepared, I guess, to defend that. And yeah, that lead's starting to get a little bit further away for Team Sarek, which will be quite good for them because they'll be quite confident now knowing that they are able and capable of taking that lead. Team Steven, though, are against the clock in this moment of time. Not a good position to be in, especially if you want to get a good series out and not get match point. And that's been proved right there. Neon, what a crazy dunk and a read. Unfortunate own goal there for Sarek, but what a strong challenge there from Neon.
Yeah, sometimes the best way to get a goal is just to put it in a weird position. And Sarek, I think, understandably, gets that ball directly toward her face, and she says, you could probably get that clear, but then halfway through, I think, realize, yeah, I am not positioned correctly for this. Into your own net. Not hard to know whether or not to just leave that one to go and roll the corner. You don't know if someone's on the back post, so I understand the challenge on that one, but might be able to get it back, or at least I thought Sarek was going to dive on this one. Going to opt for the more cautious approach, and this time Team Steven might be able to march on forward, especially when Steven gets the first touch. April up quickly for it, though, and make sure no air dribble will come to fruition.
Neon's just going to boom that one away. Give a little reset out for Team Steven. Sarek, though, trying to make something happen. Doesn't quite do anything, though. Neon does collect. Pass over to Cloudy. Does go to the corner. Wazirs will collect that, though, just for a short while. But still in the possession here of Team Sarek. Seem quite comfortable in this defense here. Neon actually trying to get a demo on Wazirs as he sits in the net ready to defend that ball, but the ball is not dangerous. It is flying back and forth across the net, but nothing is coming here. A little bit too awkward to get anything from it for Team Steven, and now they're on the defense so quickly. They're going to have to figure something out here, and Neon does just that, but April, again, just quicker and able to get back in time to save that goal.
Excellent block by Neon. Even then, going for the bump, landing on it like a missile from the skies on Cloudy. Luckily, she's able to escape that wrath, but at the very least, will be able to get, he would say a continuous touch, but no, does not quite work out. Neither does that touch away. I thought that might be a pass to the far side. Sarek nearly seizing upon it, but nope, right back to midfield and right back to this kind of tense back and forth that has slowly started to develop here in game 2.
And oh, that's going to be a very close challenge there from Wazirs as that ball now lingers in front. Steven, big miss, but not too threatening, thankfully. And that ball in front of the net, Steven now able to take control once more. Cloudy's going to pass it up back to Steven, but just off Sarek. Almost on goal on that, but manages to keep it out somehow. Just absolutely slamming it off the crossbar. I don't even know where it went first, but I'm sure she's going to be happy with that not going flying right into her net. As we do come down to the last 15 seconds of game 2. And they are still in the lead here. Maybe not for long, as Neon shows why he is on Team Steven. Making that game nice and balanced once more.
Oh, man, when I saw Steven coming up for that shot, because Neon was low on booze, not really the greatest momentum. My hand went over my mouth. I'm thinking, I don't know if they're going to be able to get that around the defender without deflecting it weird. But no, they're able to clutch up and potentially even get more, especially when Sarek trying to just keep the ball away. That's technically an air dribble into her own territory, which will be kept up by Neon one more time, and maybe the last laugh is going to go to Team Sarek. That was an aerial attempt, missed out on. Sarek misses that read, but tactically perhaps, as that one's going to delicately fall down. We're going to get, I believe, our first overtime of this entire broadcast.
Yeah, it is the first overtime, which is exciting to know that we're actually getting some tense games coming out of these series as well. As we mentioned before, a lot of these series have been sweeps, except for one, which was in the quarterfinals. So we could be getting some juicy series coming out of this one. As we come into this overtime, Wazirs gonna launch that one to the other side. Neon will collect, but is getting a little bit handled about there by the orange team. But they are doing a good job to keep that away from their net. Full boost here. Are they going to keep it out? Yep, Neon off to the corner. Steven will collect, trying to avoid any of Team Sarek's players, but they're just everywhere and they're constantly challenging and they just can't seem to get this ball out of their own half.
And that's a good rotation coming in from Sarek. Therefore, it's going to have to take something like that to send it forward, and Sears is not going to want to send it back immediately. He'll play it slow. Nearly gets dunked to oblivion here. April, soft touch, follow through, not going to be there. Maybe a Up and down fake. Zarek needs to get this read from a weird angle and will be able to get past that first challenge. Raziers tries to wrangle and does well enough to at least keep it in a dangerous area.
Zarek. Light touchdown to Raziers. Does try and keep control. Gets it past Cloudy, but April just too slow on that follow-up. Ball's going to go fly around for a little bit. Neon's able to collect that quite happily. Not much comes from it. Low boost here from Team Steven. They're going to have to retreat while April manages to get a nice big launch off of the backboard. Gets a shot, but Neon able to save that one quite comfortably there. This overtime doesn't seem too crazy, but there is some sneaky shots coming out from both teams that could become dangerous. And that is what I think is going how Game 2 is going to end.
Well, certainly it's going to have to also come with a lot of examination on backboard defenses. It seems like Team Steven wants to keep it, throwing this one forward, getting some weird reads, and keeping Team Sarah accountable for that backboard. Otherwise, they might let something goofy in, like this one for Steven on the back post. Rushes, I think, maybe trying to take a 50. None came in, and instead it's the bar denying the game winner.
Oh, it's just a little bit too far away, and that's just so unfortunate. And Ravizier's gonna go for a quick counter. Does not get that one in. Now Cloudy. Steven actually. Cloudy goes for the bump, but no one to receive that demo. Lots of back and forth going on right now. It seems like everyone's trying to come up and scramble for an idea on how they're gonna get this ball in the opposition's net, and now Steven's gonna try it hurt attempt, and nothing comes from that either. Cloudy has to collect it, take it safely to the corner, but Raziers is very quickly there, and April very aggressively pushed up, does get the overtime win there and slots it away. Cloudy just, not Cloudy, sorry. Neon just not able to connect with that ball in time.
And that is how you commit to a challenge. Love that. Watching this back as we look back at the end of the series, it's one thing I really want to pay attention to is April has a hat trick in this. 2/3 of those goals were on 0 boost. They just trusted that, yeah, that ball is going to be delivered exactly where I need it to be. And granted, it's kind of hard to lose a game when you're shooting 16 shots across that game. Granted, not to be outdone, still double digits attempt from Team Steven. So only makes sense that this game was pretty high scoring, and it was also very, very close right until the end.
I mean, yeah, that was a lot of... There was a lot of challenging going on in that overtime. A lot of counter plays coming out from each team. It was like 1 second, you had Team Steven going for a shot, almost going in, and before you know it, Team Sarek's countering it instantly and trying to do the same on their net too. But yeah, Team Sarek coming out on top there, taking game 2. They are now match point. Do you think that we're gonna end up getting another sweep here, Taco, or I don't know. I wouldn't like to think so, but it kinda is looking that way right now. The confidence is gonna be crazy.
Yeah, I know, and even still, I think in a way, chat, I have to admit, we're kind of at fault. I feel like both you and I were sitting here like, well, if any series is going to go the distance, it's probably going to be this one. And then, of course, we're potentially on the verge of a 3-0. But, of course, I say that. This is also not a situation in which we're like, well, they're really going to fix a lot. I think Team Steven, I mean, they had that win. Unfortunately, Sophie had that open net, but didn't realize, I think, just how much opening that she had. So I think it was more of a jump just to say, all right, this is probably going to get saved. Let's go for a deflection. Let's go for a 50. And then it didn't work out. So I'm not going to claim that's a mistake, but certainly this one is going to go down a little bit bitter as Neon gets an open net on the back post.
Yeah, I mean, great start for Steven. They'll need the confidence going in for this game, as they will need to reverse sweep Team Sarek if they do want a chance there at getting in the grand finals up against Team Yas. But yeah, Neon definitely stepping up there on the offense, getting that first goal in. See if we can see anything else come out from these players, as we know what we've seen before previously in the tournament, that they have that confidence and are able to get those plays going. It's just maybe they're feeling taken aback by it a little bit. Due to the fact that Team Sarek is so aggressive and is just so demo heavy as well.
And that's definitely going to throw a wrench in well-laid plans when you're moving forward. It's nothing more frustrating than saying, hey, I'm throwing this middle, and then someone's like, nope, I'm dead. I'm all the way in the back corner, so you're going to have to find something else. And that is something that I think we'll slowly see emerged from both squads, because that's typically what has to happen when you're playing against good defenses. The only really good way to get through a defense that is that solid is to start bumping them out of that way.
Yeah, and hopefully we see a little bit more of self-awareness when it comes to these demos. It's not fun when you see them getting demoed constantly. That ball's just bouncing around half the time and no one's actually doing much plays with it. But hey, the game's the game, right? You gotta do what you gotta do to get that ball in the net. And if demoing is one of those things, then so be it. But yeah, we have Neon. 0 boost. Does get a good 50 against Viziers. But he will take that ball. Does almost get it past third man there on Team Steven, but Cloudy does get a touch. April up, does slot it in. So sneaky. Once again, April, she is just a shadow in the distance, and then all of a sudden she just pounces out. She's there, and before you know it, that ball is in your net.
It's not even like any of these goals from April are really highlight reels. You're not going to clip them. You're not going to tweet those out. But at the end of the day, it's because she's always in the correct position. But of course, I want to give my flowers to Raziers as well on that play. Has no boost in the corner. Probably everybody on Team Steven saying, they're just going to rotate back. But instead, ricochets that perfectly into that top corner. Gets the deflection perfectly down. So nice way to answer back after kind of a gimme goal to Neon to start off this game. Almost another one, but Cloudy able to say, actually, I don't want that going in the corner. Let's get a quick little team pinch, get that one to the far side, and maybe get a demo as well. April, though, playing the savior on the back end as well.
There's does seem like he's getting on the more offensive side on this. Might need to get back for defense, though. Doesn't need to though, as April is able to clear that one away, but the offense now coming out from Steven. Low boost here for Team Sarek. Can they keep their composure? As April clears that off to the side. Cloudy collects, manages to get to round, not one but two. Midfield, Steven goes for the shot off the backboard. Is there a follow-up? yes, from Neon, but it's not on target, and the 50 gets blocked away by Sarek, and they are quite comfortably able to clear that ball away.
I like that touch from April. It's not necessarily a shot that's going to trouble the defenders, but it forces them to stay in place, hit the brakes, and just get a weak touch, which then allows this to happen. Raziers and Sarak able to then launch themselves into the offense, get some quick touches, make sure the defense has to be on their heels, and more importantly, using a lot of boosts to turn around 180, get the clear, chase the ball again, hopefully get another boost and get kind of locked in, which is exactly why they're starting to panic in the backfield. Neon trying to preserve what boost he has left just to be able to get this clear, and does.
I love how you get such composed plays coming out of this game, and then just randomly everyone doesn't know what they're doing anymore, and the ball's just bouncing and everyone's missing, and then everyone's like, oh, okay, and they snap back into it, and it's just those moments just make me laugh a little bit, because it's just like, I love how it doesn't matter what level you are in the game, those moments still exist. We see it all the time as well, where there's always that little bit of confusion, but that little bit of confusion can always just give you that edge. Maybe you sneak it in the right shot, maybe you get the goal from it, but yeah, it always makes me laugh a little bit. I just wanted to point that out.
I think it's also the most relatable aspect of people talk about SSLs. It's like, well, I mean, they're consistent all the time, but it's like, actually, in reality, it's just 99% of the time they're great, and the other 1%, we all become bronzes from time to time, where you just really don't know what's happening. You're just going to throw your card in the general direction of the ball, and hopefully it works out.
I mean, yeah, and sometimes it does work. We did see that, obviously, come from Raziers when he was 0 seconds. April, goal line save. Had to hit off the crossbar to get that one out. Very interesting, but it does work. Really well defensive play coming out here from April too, and Sarek able to clear that off. But low boost again in that play. Doesn't actually get much distance going for that, and Sarek's going to have to make another save there on 0. But Raziers is able to collect that one. Neon gonna boom it. Steven there doesn't quite connect, unfortunately. That could have been the goal that takes the lead there for Team Steven, but not quite getting those touches, not quite getting those accurate shots. Could that be the reason that they lose this game?
The tough thing is that Steven's actually not really struggling to get past the defenders. It's mostly that fourth defender in the crossbar. The amount of times in the past 2 games, I believe we're up to 3 or 4 now from Steven just not being able to get that final shot off. It's painful, but hey, maybe she could be the hero right here. Lead by example as the captain from the ceiling back post. Can't generate enough lift on that scoop. OT yet again.
Oh, and it's gonna be a hard one for Team Steven to fight, because they know that if Team Sarek do get a goal, then they are out of the tournament. So this is going to be everything for them. And is it going to be that? It is exactly that. Team Sarek. April. What a great read from Razier's pass there. Right in the net. Neon just not there. No boost. And that's going to be the game.
And that is the toughest part, in my opinion, of trying to play at a high level, is you see a ball kind of baited out in front of net. Surely I can get there quickly, but Razier's, he has that read as well. Rises up quickly. April gets the finish, and therefore Team Serac into the grand finals. Going to be playing against Team Yas. Excellently done. Even in a series we thought was guaranteed to be much closer, sometimes Team Serac just has that higher quality.
I just wanted a game 5. That's it. Are we cursing these games? Should we just be like, yes, sweep, please? Just, you know what? The games are fantastic. They were really entertaining. It's unfortunate that we didn't get the full amount of games that we could have got, but that's just how the cookie crumbles, unfortunately. Team 7 just not quite up to par with Team Sarek, and yeah, Team Sarek now going to be facing up against Team Yas in the grand finals. That's exciting, and I think that's what Yas expected as well when we spoke to her about who she would like to see in the grand finals too.
Particularly with a lot of people in chat mentioning that there's so many BS Plus players within this tournament, and now we have, I would say, the maximal BS Plus grand final that we could possibly have generated.
We have a reunion.
Exactly, we have the reunion, and of course it's going to be a little bit of friendly banter, but at the end of the day, there's only one team that can take down home first, so we'll find out in a little bit. But for right now, we're going to throw you to a brief break here for the Radiant Invitational. Don't go anywhere. Hello, and welcome back to some more Radiant Invitational. I didn't lie. We did have more, and we have even more to hear from all these different players. So we'll be talking to Sarek in just a little bit, but for right now, just as a recap of the series, Jordy's, I do think we have to confront the reality that we are jinxing these series. just a little bit. We were like, oh, it's guaranteed to go to game 4 or something, to game 5, and then what do you know? It's just a sweep because Sarah, she and her teammates, they just like that. They're just that good.
I mean, are we cursing them or are they just proving us wrong? Because we went into that series watching it thinking, you know, these are really well skilled and confident teams and they're going to clash and it's going to be close. But then, you know, we see the likes of what actually happened, 3-0, and yeah, like Sarek's team just came out on top, just that little bit more composed, a little bit more aggression coming out from them, and just like Razir is definitely the magic man in this team that is able to create plays for Sarek and April. And yeah, with April's offensiveness, it just all gelled in beautifully for them. And yeah, they definitely deserved that win and that sweep on top of that.
Yeah, Sarek was getting, outside of this one low light, really solid all throughout the series, just getting an accidental own goal, but being able to get all the saves, all the assists, playing around. But obviously, it makes your job so much easier when Razirs and April have combined for, I think, 6 or 7 of the goals within this series on plays just like this. Really well poached hits into dangerous areas for the defense. And April, I mean, that finishing was incredible. I didn't have the combined stats of her accuracy, but I can't really think of the last time where there was an open shot. It was not in the back of the net.
Yeah, I mean, the shots coming out from Team Sarek were just really, really confident as well. Like, you could see every shot had a purpose and it had so much power that you just knew that they were just being confident. And I've said confident too many times now because that's what I think they were doing. They were very confident. And yeah, I mean, we do have Sarek, hopefully, to give a little bit of an interview, post-game interview. Welcome in. Congratulations on making it to the grand finals. I have some questions for you and how that series went. How did you feel coming into that semi-finals up against Team Steven, and were you nervous at all?
I was a bit nervous. I mean, we did a warm-up scrum against them before we started playing today. And it was quite equal. We had a few games where we dominated them. We had a few games where they scored like 5 goals on us. So, yeah, our plan was to go in there, like you said, confident and just play our game and try to be the more consistent team.
You say that your goal is to be the more consistent team, as you just alluded to, and of course scrims can mean one thing, but it's different when you really get down to it. What do you feel like is really the separating value? Like, what is the kind of intangible that your team carries that I feel like has gotten you this far in the bracket so far?
Oh, it's Razirs. Because like he's by far the best player on our team, but he's like not trying to play a hard carry. He's like trying to connect us all 3 on the field, and yeah, it just works great.
Do you feel more confident knowing that Razirs is kind of being like the glue of the team and allowing you to kind of play more confidently, or do you think that you're just kind of like fitting into your role?
Yeah, definitely. Like, I always know that I have at least one teammate behind me who I can trust, and like April is super consistent as well, so I have 2 teammates behind me who I can trust. That's like a really good base, so I can just do my thing. I mean, I even own gold, and we still won the game, but yeah.
I mean, hey, sometimes I was just saying, at least in the chat when that happened, that you're an entertainer. You like to keep things tense, you know, give them a goal. Just something weird because you don't want the lead to get too large. But at the very least, you are an entertainer in that you are propelling through a bunch of highlights through your squad into the grand finals, playing against Team Yas, who in a way has kind of upset their way into the grand finals. What are your expectations for Team Yas and how you guys will match up against them in the grands?
Oh, we will see. I know they're really aggressive because, well, they're 2 of my teammates. And yeah, of course I want to win because I don't want to lose against my own teammates. So yeah, I guess I just stay confident. We warm-up scrimmed against them yesterday, or on Friday. It went pretty good for us. So yeah, let's see if we can do that again.
Yeah, well, you're going to have a lot of confidence going into it because you know how they'll play and stuff like that. So at least you'll be able to pick apart how they're going to play against you and maybe take advantage of that too. But yeah, good luck in the grand finals. It is a best of 7. Do you think that you'll be able to keep that consistency up since it's a longer series, or how do you think that that's going to go? Do you feel how confident do you feel going up against Team Yas, knowing that they're your teammates as well?
I think we can just keep up the way we're playing right now because like works great. And even if we lose a game, we will just try and adapt.
All right. Well, then best of luck in that grand finals. We'll be potentially hearing from you soon because we might just be here after the grand final. Good luck.
Thank you.
Well, there you go. It's confidence coming through from Team Sark there as they come off a sweep against Team Steven. Congratulations to them. But now, yes, the grand finals. The thing we've been waiting for all day because it's the most important series. Team Yas versus Team Sark. We have seen both of these teams play in the semi-finals. So coming up against each other, it's going to be very interesting. Like we said, looking at the bracket, all sweeps bar from one. Taco, do you think it's gonna be another sweep?
Why would you even say that? No.
I don't know.
No. I'm good. I think Sarak, I'm a little bit worried that earlier Sarak saying, well, you know, games went pretty well for us against Team Yas, but I'm gonna hope that it's like an inversion of everything, you know, where it's like earlier, it's like we're playing Team Steven in those warm-up scrims, and it was really back and forth. Then it turned out to be one-sided. I'm gonna hope for the opposite happening right here. I want it to be a bit back and forth. Definitely, Alana's gonna be bringing the heat. The most aggressive of the BS Plus players, getting a lot of demos in. So I think that's gonna add a little wrench into some plans and figure out how are they really gonna adapt. But I think seeing all these one-sided results are just more about a matter of some teams just come in, they're playing super well on their day, and sometimes your play style just counters the others super well. And I think that's mostly been what we've seen. I'm not super surprised by sweeps in the first round, but our semifinals being this one-sided, I mean, sometimes two teams are just destined to make grands, and I think that was really what happened here with all this BS Plus talent in this lobby.
Yeah, I said this right at the start too. I was like, are we gonna get a double EU grand finals? And yeah, that's exactly what we got. I said at the beginning also that I do think EU is the stronger region in this tournament based off of the players and the teams that they selected. And yeah, it's just showing exactly how powerful these players are. And just even though they're all sweeps, you can see in the game just how quickly the level and skill steps up with each game or each series, for example. And yeah, I feel like the grand finals with Yas and Sarek's teams, it's gonna be hopefully the best performance we've seen from both teams yet in the entire tournament, because there is a lot on the line here for both, with the top prize being $3,000 of the prize pool share, which is, you know, it's a big jump. And yeah, all to play for this one. I'm really excited to see if nerves are going to get the best of them or if they're going to be really confident going into this one.
And that's a good thing to bring up as well, is when you get into those grand finals, you can play well all day, but I've talked to a couple players and they realize like, oh man, we're like in the grands, like we're all the way there. Some players get really excited about that and they play even better because they like playing under the spotlight. They know that there's people in the Twitch chat cheering them on and watching how the game and series develop. But other players get a little bit nervy. They start to doubt themselves. They're like, well, I don't want to throw this game, and they get in their heads too much. I think that's why I like those teams that have enthusiastic kind of joking comms, because it allows players to be able to lock in, be able to say, hey, not a big deal, teammates have my back, it's a good time, and hopefully we can cruise on through. And you're especially going to have to need that if you're Team Yas, because here they are, Team Sarak, their opponents in the grand final after really putting up quite the show in our second semifinal.
Yeah, and it's going to be a show for the grand finals too, I hope. Please, I'm praying, I'm manifesting, please don't sweep. Oh my god. I mean, I know you want to win, I get it, I understand, you know, it's all part of the competitive side of the tournament, but we do like a nice entertaining game too, and I do think that can come out from Team Sarek. Their playstyle is very entertaining to watch and how they work around each other. Same with Yas. Team Yas, we did see a lot of team plays come out from them in the previous semi-finals against Team Casey. And yeah, I think that both teams will be able to kind of present that confidence, and it's just a matter of time to see if team starts slowing down and if it gets too much for them. But I don't think that's going to happen. I think this is going to be a good one, Taco.
And that's really my biggest hope, is just making sure that we see these two teams playing at the peak of their powers. And it seems like that's exactly happening because, of course, we do have our sweeps. But we also have just so much talent, not only on the RLCS side with Nico and Raziers, but April, Sarek, Yas, Alanis, really mainstays in the women's scene, the burgeoning women's scene, hopefully, as we kind of close out of 2025, go into 2026, because I love these events. I know you love these events as well, Jordy's, being able to see all this talent on display, and really this is a chance for them to say, hey, this is our ability to rack up some more prize pool, get those earnings up on Liquipedia, get to flex on other people in rank, because that's really the best rebuttal there possibly is.
Oh yeah, the Liquipedia page means everything, of course. We need those stats, stat pad, placement pad, everything. But no, I mean, obviously this tournament, they're all going to be going in as well. Really excited, hoping to get the win. I'm sure everyone on both teams will be doing their best. And that's why I think this is going to be so exciting too. Although, like we have spoken about many times before, we do have the whole team of BS plus competition. So maybe a fun little rivalry. Oh my goodness, I can't speak. Against the girls there on that element, and then also having the addition of Raziers and Nico with the more RLCS experience, and then April, who we have seen throughout that previous series just being there and being so aggressive. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be fun, and I think that whoever comes out on top does deserve the win.
And I think being able to hopefully see this one be truly back and forth is going to be on multiple factors. I think for me, Team Sarek just looks super well-rounded. Everyone's playing really aggressively. Sarek maybe not getting as many goals as her teammates, but that, again, that's sometimes just by design. If your two teammates are popping off, it's kind of like in basketball. If someone's shooting everything and it's always going in the bucket, you just let them keep shooting. You don't try to interfere like, hey, I want to help out. No, you just let them continue doing their work and be able to sit back and observe the results. Yas, Alanis, and Nico, I'm blown away by how, as I think your word was, efficient when we tuned into their comms and see just how well they're working together. So I think that's going to be a continuation on this, and I guess only time will tell. Best of 7 that we'll be loading into for this grand final. Game 1 underway.
Very exciting. Here we go. Game 1. Let's see. How is it going to start? Sarek going to pass that up to Nico. Going to keep control on it. Does get over Raziers. Drops it down. And manages to get the first goal for Team Yas there. Taking out all 3 players of Team Sarek in the first 10 seconds.
Ooh, not only getting the dunk, but then being able to just ricochet that one through. That's so brutal. And I hate that when that happens to myself when you're going for a play. You're thinking, it's okay. We have so many people back. Nothing really to worry about. And then all of a sudden, it just all goes out the window.
Yeah, and it's going to be a good start there for Team Yas as well. But, ooh, probably not the best shot there from Team Yas, as that net looked a little bit open, but maybe she didn't expect that, so unfortunately for her. But, you know, the possession's still there. Nico's going to stay close, but Raziers will take possession over. Will fly to the midfield. April doesn't have much boost, so can't push up for that. Has to retreat back for Sarek. Yeah, not the best touches coming out here from Team Sarek at the moment. We will try and make something of this, though, as April does launch the ball over to the orange side, but not much following up as that one drops down. And the 50 from April in the net there. I don't think Alanis quite had the best position to block that one away, as April was kind of awkward here on the right side. So just a better touch out on from April's side.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. I think Alanis is in that unenviable position of that ball ricocheting straight down, waterfalling in front of your net, and you have limited boost, and you're coming in from a weird angle, so you're trying to get that deflection. Honestly, does well enough, but clearly it's still going to go in, much like Nico's double tap right off the kickoff. 3 goals the first minute. Clearly we're getting your tickets worth.
Oh, I mean, yeah, this is also just nothing worse than, you know, you spending the last minute getting a goal, and then all of a sudden the kickoff just immediately in your net. So bit of okay, we're resetting back to square one type of thing, but I'm sure it won't shake the table too much for Team Sarek, because there is 4 minutes left of game 1. And yeah, we're gonna see if they can try and get a little bit more progression out of this offense, but Nico is going to deny every possible chance there as April does boom it high again, but Yas present and ready to pass down to Nico, but Vizier's able to block that one away.
Sarek might be able to get this shot off. It's nice contact. Unfortunately, the accuracy not going to be in tow. Nico underneath one, flip reset, Raziers. That is a save, but it was out in the middle. I thought there would be a follow-up, but apparently Modest and Yas gonna just get back, play some more conservative defense, and then ready up for the next one.
Yep, and it's like, I think that's just for confidence too. Maybe they were just sat there like, yeah, Nico's got this. Like, he did it before, he can do it again, you know? It can't be like too difficult for me to, you know, be there in the midfield. But yeah, it could have been a third one, but I don't think they're too worried about that right now. They are quite comfortable here in the lead. And that one's going to go pop up high. Alanis not able to connect with that one as Raziers pops it over, but that goes straight to Nico. Big 50 from Sarek. Raziers gets it run to April, and she hammers it in! And she's able to equalize the series, the game, sorry, in this first couple minutes.
And poor Yas actually almost over pursues that one. I think expecting that deflection to go further out in the middle, jumps for it, and then realizes only that back spoiler is really going to get any contact in. Good job on April being staying central on the ball. Sometimes you go too quickly, you deflect it, and then it just goes out to the sideline, but instead got completely behind the read, slowed down even just to make sure that that dunks right into the net. This shot, though, not going right in. Nico will circumvent that one play, put it to the corner, and then yield another 50. Luckily, April more than enough boost to get back.
Good thing April was back there as well, because that would have been a bit demoralizing to see that one roll in. But she was there nonetheless. Halfway through game one, 2-2. Is there going to be a more offense here coming out from Team Yas? They will be keen to take the lead here because I feel like the game ones now are kind of more important than usual, as we have seen a lot of these series go sweep. So this could decide who is taking the advantage in this grand final.
April, slow play, love the reset. Doesn't get any contact, but it still produces a double commit. Another double commit on the goal line. Nico still maintaining not only enough boost, but gets the demo. However, does he leave them short staff? No. Yas gets a save across. It looks like the attack will have to be fully rebuilt by Team Sarek with another clear to deal with.
Sarek's just going to pop that one off, and it actually gets a really weird bounce, and Yas wasn't able to read that. Raziers popping it high for the April follow-up, but just not able to get there on time. It's Sarek! She comes in and she cleans up, taking the lead here for Team Sarek on the blue team. April wasn't able to get that one in because of Alanis, but Sarek, zero boost, but fully committed for that goal.
And really smart from April on that follow-through. Raziers gets that quality pop-up, allows April to get on it, but April runs out of boost. Instead of just trying to plow through that read and try to put it up and over, just takes a clean 50, keeps it dangerous, and that allows Sarek to have enough trust in that rotation to just kind of dive on in, get a near post finish, and take, obviously, that lead. It's going to be oh so important as we enter the final 70 seconds of game number one. Team Yas trying desperately to try to cut across these aggressive rotations, even aggressive pass. No one's going for it up until Nico and Raziers collide. And that one's just going to have to go so innocently off to the sideline yet again.
I do want to touch on the fact as well that during the interview with Sarek, she did say that she's like, oh, the reason why we're doing so well is because of Raziers. But I think she needs to give herself a little bit more credit here. She's playing very well. She is in the right position at the right time, and she is causing a lot of commotion. Almost there from April. But yeah, I think there's a little bit more credit where it's due on Sarek's end as we do come into the end of game one here with 37 seconds left. Will anything spark from this side on Team Yas? Nico gets the bomb! And he gets it over Team Sarek, and he is able to tie the game up once again there. What a great play. He manages to get that nice pop over Raziers. He's just not able to get it out of his net, even though he connected with it.
Nearly using every single surface of the field, going for the sidewall, double tap off the ceiling, gets the reset, fakes underneath, and uses the delay to flick that one high off the post and in. Got to be really tilting for defense. You want to stay, you know, somewhat anticipatory, just be able to sit back and wait for that read, but sometimes there's going to be quadruple fakes getting dished in there. Yas needs to make sure they're up for this one. They are not, but the post has her back.
Oh my goodness, that was so close, and they got so lucky there, especially with this game almost coming to an end. We might get ourselves an OT unless Yas can figure something out here, but Raziers denies it. He does keep it on the wall, keeps it away from everyone else, but Alanis able to get the block. Sarek keeps it up. Yas is going to fake that one out and drop it down. We have game one overtime in this grand finals.
whoever takes this lead obviously sets up a interesting precedence, as we've seen quite a lot of sweeps within the series, so eventually being able to kickstart that one with a goal is nice, but I think it's going to be a hard-fought one. Obviously no kickoff goals to be had, but still the kickoff offense started by Alanis and squad is going to be ended by her as well. What a read off the corner for a Game 1 dub.
I mean, Alanis just showing how it's done there. Absolutely clinical with how she did that play right into the net there. And even though all the defenders from Team Sark were present, just not in the right position. So props to Alanis there, helping out and taking Game 1 for Team Yas.
And despite a hat trick there, it is Alanis being able to close that one out really cleanly done, as both captains really just at the bottom of the scoreboards, but at most of the time, as you mentioned, giving them a lot of credit. They were instrumental in a lot of those defenses, making sure they're getting those close era saves, getting forward onto those counterattacks, developing those plays. And I think at the end of the day, I don't think anyone should look at that from Team Sarek and say, ah, man, this is going to be like impossible if they're playing like that. That's so struggle. No, both teams played really well. It's just that one moment of quality that makes all the difference.
Yeah, and we can have a little listen in here for how that game went for both teams.
Yeah, you got it. I'm watching me.
I'm going high.
Yeah,
Going over him. Over.
50?
Black.
That's
it.
Nice, Nico. Great
Nice,
start.
nice.
Bro, speaking. The Crocs.
Let's go.
It's the Crocs.
It's the Crocs in the test lobby.
Yeah.
Not the Crocs.
Nice.
I'm dead.
I can go.
I'll leave you. Nice.
Net is open.
Nice.
Open it.
I
Nice,
love that they're
Nico.
having such good confidence with each other as
Good
well
play.
there. That's
Nice.
great to hear.
I'm awkward as fuck.
Also, they got the
You
fits
chill, you
apparently
chill.
all dialed in the
That's on
comms.
the side.
Oh yeah.
You gotta know what your
Nice
teammates are wearing.
stand. I'll take back right.
That's so
Go
close.
under. Over.
Nice.
Nice, Nico.
Let's go.
That was so laggy though. Your play looked like it went in, but also not.
Over. One over.
I'm up.
You can try one up.
There you go.
It went in, but also nah. Well, tough thing to deal with sometimes on high ping, but both these teams are in EU, so they're dealing with a similar ping situation. Hopefully ghost touches aren't going to plague any of them anymore. Maybe just demos. April's back for more, a double demo to open up the game.
I'm actually surprised she went back for more. She was like, I'm still hungry, come back here. I guess that boost spawning as she was rotating out was very convenient and worked out beautifully there. And just great from Raziers for that positioning to understand what was going on and get that first goal.
Yeah, the true terror that was on that player cam from the goalie, watching April get that boost steal and immediately 180 at full speed directly at the near post. It has to be something a little bit weird for Team Yas to deal with. Great way to open things up with some trademark aggression, and yet not really from the team we'd expect it from. Alanis has been kind of the demo hunter through in this BS Plus team and also throughout this bracket, and yet it's going to be April showing that she's a woman of many talents. Sarak trying to get a redirect. It's a near target Raziers, guaranteeing that it will be number 2.
Oh wow, Raziers just being there and just maybe not expecting the Nico save, but just being able to read it. Very impressive and really well played there from Raziers. But yeah, that redirect attempt from Sarek, we have to touch on that. Again, credit where it's due. Sarek is definitely putting in work and making Team Yas work for that defense also.
Half of the struggle is just making sure you actually make that contact on target. I know that seems like a low bar, but a lot of players try to overcomplicate it. They're going to slot it so hard that they want to put it directly into that corner, and then it ends up just missing anyway. So sometimes you just need to be able to throw it on target with enough pace to make the defense trip up, and that's exactly what happened.
Yeah, and it's working out for Team Sark great as they are now 2-0. No, 2-1. There we go. Much better. Yas was able to shut me up really quickly there as she managed to get her first goal for her team.
Yeah, I do like that also from Nico. I don't necessarily know if that was 100% meant to be a pass, but I think it's one of those things where it's like, I'm going to throw this to the back post somewhere, and if you're there, great. If not, then I mean, it'll be a weird clear. They did not anticipate on the blue side, and neither does the booth here. Surprising first goal, and maybe another one right back, but no, a demo from our orange side means that that one is only going to end in a clear.
Raziers is not messing about. He is so aggressive in this series right now, but I feel like that's what is setting them aside from Team Yas right now with how aggressive that they are actually being. You know, we have the hard offense coming out from Raziers. We have the kind of unpredictable plays from Sarek, and then April is currently being a really solid third player right now, and it was a really awkward ball, but again, was able to keep that one out, and Sarek able to take that one off to the side. But now Zero Boost has to be very smart with the decisions that she's about to make, and is able to pass that one back to Raziers, who booms that forward. Is Sarek still there? No, it's going to be straight to Alanis, and she's actually going to leave that for Nico. And is that going to be a mistake as that one trickles down the side? But Yas able to save that one away, but another shot on target from Sarek. She's so unpredictable, and she's so quick to that ball where people least expect it.
It's crazy to know that there are 6 players in the field, but I feel like Raziers has gotten 7 touches in a row on that last attack. But like he just kept rotating around and around, always just found himself near that play. So W positioning coming in for our blue side, definitely going to help keep this lead, but also going to need a lot of defense on display. Nico is actually a little bit tripped up and yet still dodges the bump and gets the save off the line, keeping this game close.
Faking? Maybe. I don't know, but it almost worked out for Team Sarek there. They almost had a third, but now Nico pushing up is going for the boost instead, leaving that all of Team Yas on the left side of the pitch. Razier's going for a musty. Alanis not ready for it. Extending that lead. Raziers, he is on fire.
That's perfect contact as well. Poor Alanis is in a position in a straight line from that ball. But in fact, that's the hard part because you can't see how Raziers is setting up. But once that nose goes down, if you're from the side, you're saying, okay, that's going to be a musty. But for Alanis, that might have just been kind of a jump scare of a shot. Just immediately a bunch of power out of nowhere.
Yeah, I mean, those types of shots, when you're going for them, they can't... when you're on the opposing side, I'll continue as April manages to find a fourth there for Team Sarek. Musties especially are the scariest shot for me because 1 second they're in the air with the ball and then the next second it's flying so far past you and you're like, oh, that happened really quickly. So yeah, I could expect maybe a little bit of a panic jump there from Alanis, but yeah, does not make much difference as this one continues to go in Team Sarek's favor.
And after an incredibly even back and forth game 1, this is where Team Sarek has really tried to flex their advantage in certain ways. But I will say Raziers has been everywhere, but really everybody on this squad at making sure that they're jumping on any loose ball, stealing away boosts, getting some bumps. And I think for right now, Team Yas is maybe not has to panic, but definitely in the back of their minds think about, okay, this is a game that could be emblematic of how this series could turn out if we're not careful. We're not playing against like any run-of-the-mill team. Team Sarek was kind of the feared team in the eyes of Team Steven for a good reason, having had them take them down, but also just because they are really solid. They are going to show no mercy. If you give them any opening, they're probably going to put it in the back of your net.
Yeah, and Raziers is making that come to life with how aggressive he's coming out of Team Sarek too. It's absolutely incredible to see how he can essentially just be everywhere all at once and just never be in a bad spot, and it's just working out perfectly for him. Here he comes again, 1v1 against Yas. Goes for the low fake, but doesn't quite do anything from it. Yas able to get one away, so Nico, half a tank, does try to get it past Sarek, not able to, drops down to Yas, does pop it over, but Raziers, he's too fast, and he does get that one cleared away. 30 seconds left. I'm saying Team Yas are going to have a little bit of a reset here as the series comes to a tie.
Team Yas, I find that they're in between where they need to be on a lot of these challenges, and it often comes from a situation in which the other team is kind of rotating at will. Sometimes those goals will provide a little reset, but other times it's kind of just that awkward moment of saying, okay, well, they're just a little bit faster here. This is something we need to talk about in between games and figure out what we're going to do, because right now, this series, if it continues like this, is all Team Sarek. 4-1 after dropping game 1 in OT. We finally have a tied-up series guaranteed to go beyond sweep territory.
Thank goodness. I am so glad. Thank you, Team Sarek, for taking that 4-1 and not giving us a sweep in the grand finals. It isn't our fault. We're clear from caster curses. I'm happy. But yeah, that game was fantastic, especially from Raziers. He played very aggressive that one, and you can definitely see that from the score. 3 goals there to take it away. So confident too. And yeah, Team Yas is gonna have to reset a little bit. Not too much to worry about, I think, just because the series is only 1-1, and I do think that they still played pretty confident, and in a sense that they didn't worry too much, I guess, with how the game went. But I'm looking forward to see how game 3 goes, and if it's gonna keep consistent with Sarek, or if Team Yas are gonna able to try and, you know, take one for themselves in a back and forth scenario.
I definitely feel like that last goal we just saw from Razier's getting that musty. That's kind of a morale breaker. I feel like at some point you're kind of like, all right, yeah, this game is just theirs. I'm sorry, they're just playing that much cleaner. Granted, this slot by April also helps to be able to put that 1 to 4, but I think as any true competitor will tell you, sometimes you have to have the memory of a goldfish. You have to be able to get that loss in, consolidate kind of what's important, but just put it out of your mind. There's no reason to dwell in the past. You just got to dwell on what's here and what's happening right now, like Game 3 on Utopia Dusk, to see who can take the lead, propel themselves even further to that grand final victory. As Alanis tried to kickstart it with a bump, but looks like April will be able to rescue things.
Here we go. Game 3, Sarek starting on the offense as April then goes for a big boom, but Nico able to take that one to the side. But Sarek's back again, gets a nice strong 50. April trying to help out there on the side and isn't able to, but now Razier's getting a bump, moving mad, and just isn't able to get that in front of the net just yet, but the pressure is absurd, and Sarah's getting bumps. No one's in the midfield. Maybe Razier's can, but he's just not fast enough to put that one away. The pressure will not stop here as well as Sarek tries to go for another bump. April as well up there too. I didn't even realize. But now, yeah, this is getting a little bit more aggressive.
And certainly also not even on accident, but getting some dodges in. Sarek had no more boost than the boost steal came in from Team Yas. They went for a demo on Sarek, but Sarek actually kind of faked him out on that one. So good job to be able to avoid those demos, which I think will increasingly become the strat for a lot of these squads, as if you get one player taken out, it really just puts a hamper on it. Really everything you're trying to do, even with a back post shot. Razier's has the first save, has the second as well. We saw a similar defensive excellence from Nico, and now it seems like it's Razier's turn to show off how they're going to lock down the net.
Yeah, it definitely seems like it's a battle of the fittest right now, and how consistent each player can be, even when they're being singled out, just like Razier's in the net. And it's really showing who wants it more, and it's so consistent with Alanis now coming through for a goal for Team Yas there. As you can see, Nico not actually trying to put that on target, but Razier's not getting the best touch and allowing Alanis to swoop in and steal that and get a goal for her team.
I'm a huge fan of watching Nico go that double tap. Razier's denies it, and then Nico says, all right, enough with this. Screw this. And just immediately turns around, bumps out the goalie, and calls to Alanis, hey, just slot that one in the open net. We took care of everything else. And now it's just about taking care of business the rest of this game, which is easier said than done. Razier's back post Yas just enough momentum to be able to get that save.
Here we go again. Razier's on the back. Going to take that one up high. Is going to try and stay close to it. Trying to get a 50 somewhere, but Yas able to get a lot more dodge. Razier is, ooh, don't know if he meant to land on it like that or just keep commotion going, but it's getting a little bit chaotic. Yas trying to take that one away, but again, Razier's his bag. He's everywhere. He doesn't want to stop. He's gonna go for a demo. He's gonna go for Nico as well, but he sneaks by, and again, it's just the Razier's show at this point. He's just doing everything he absolutely can, and it's no discredit to April or Sarek either. He's just everywhere.
Yeah, it's a player that has a really storied 1v1 career. Obviously, one of the higher ranked players in 2's bubble player slash kind of like high level pro in RLCS as well. So you can tell he's just feeling himself. Sometimes when players play it like that, you want him to just be on the ball. A double tap not on target, but got close enough, and that leads to a counter. Maybe an accident actually, as Razier's goes for a double in the middle. It does not work out.
And that is going to be a little bit of a stinger after how much pressure they had on Team Yas. And yeah, Nico taking out Razier's is going to be a little bit frustrating as Team Yas now take the lead coming into the later half of Game 3. This is going to be a really good booster for them as well, knowing that, hey, at least even though we lost Game 2 pretty badly, at least now we can kind of say that we've taken the reins a little bit better and taking more control in Game 3.
Maybe Razier's cheating up on that Sarek double. Got a little too confident on that 50. Didn't work out, so lesson learned and something they're going to have to consolidate. Maybe with an April slot near post, going to be way too easy for Nico. So we think again, back to the drawing boards, into the corner as Nico is not going to get that demo, but they follow from Yas. Is going to win 100% of that read. Right now, it seems like the pendulum for both these teams swinging back and forth. Last game, it was really all Team Sarek, and right now they're struggling sometimes to even get out of their half.
Yeah, and I mean, this is why it makes this series so interesting as well, because all players on both teams are so clinical that it could just work out that little bit better for one team, and it's like, okay, we need to kind of reset. Or it could go one way or another, and it's just really interesting to see how the dynamic flips, I guess, and how in one game you see kind of Team Sark taking control, and then the next game it's now Team Yas, with Team Sark not being able to get kind of any offense going now in the later half of this game. And yeah, it's not going to be a good feeling for Team Sark, knowing that they are losing that lead in the middle of the series. So hoping to see if they can do anything in these last 40 seconds.
How about that? Shot coming in, and April
Spoke too
able to stop
soon.
that one. I mean, ultimately, that's really what we've seen the bread and butter from this team be. Just set up April, trust that her finishing is going to be clean. And even though that looks like a weak shot, it's actually the only place I feel like she really could have put that. We saw the near post defender coming back, and it looks like they have pretty much everything in the center of the goal covered. But if they shoot it just far enough away, it's going to deflect on in. That proved to be exactly what did occur. Final 30 seconds. Let's see. Maybe another one is in the card, especially with a deflection like that. Anything's possible unless you're Nico on defense.
There you go. Last 25 seconds. Can April do anything? Takes control. Goes off the ceiling. Doesn't get the touch, so Yas able to take that one away, but it could be a mistouch. Brazier is able to snag that and quite strategically pop it in without any problems whatsoever.
Braziers was so cautiously waiting in the middle, saying, okay, well, I can get away if I need to, but if this has anything remotely close to a shot, I could probably bang this one. Got to keep it high. He does top shelf, and what do you know? It's all even, and Team Yas, seemingly having this game under wraps, now has to make sure that they're not the ones that are going to go out the back door on this one, as Braziers is an open air dribble with a reset all the way across the field. Par and in. What a player.
What a clean play here from Braziers. Textbook play. Flip reset, double tap in. Not enough defense there for Team Yas, and that's gonna feel good for Team Sarek, knowing that they were 2-0 up the whole game just to then get it tied all of a sudden. So really reconnects themselves, knowing that, yeah, we had this game under wraps. You know, they might have tied it, but we had it all along.
Clutch playmaking down the stretch, 3 goals unanswered in really not that much time. I don't remember the first goal that went through, but that was essentially a comeback in what seemed like about 90 seconds that they were able to completely bring everything together and be able to clutch things up. So from Team Yas, I mentioned earlier, maybe it's important to have a short memory. I think they want to wipe this out of their brains immediately. That's a really rough way to drop a game.
Yeah, and they probably had a lot of momentum when they realized that when they scored those 2 goals, they're probably like, yeah, okay, we got this. And then, yeah, Braziers shows up and decides, yeah, you know what? I'm going to give you this polished, beautiful play, and you're not going to save it because I'm going to score it. And that is exactly what just happened there. Now Team Sark taking the lead in the grand finals. 2-1 in the series. Brazier is definitely stepping up as well. It's very interesting to see how in the previous series he kind of was more of that middleman, and now he's stepping up, and now he's like, you know what? It's my time to shine. I want to win this.
And being able to get that game to go really is going to boost all the supporters in the Team Sarek camp, but the Team Yas, they need your energy too. I want to see the chat kind of get high on them again, because right now that's a rough game to lose, but they are far from out of it. Only game 4 in our best of 7. And halfway to the victory is Team Sarek, so clearly they're going to have the momentum, but can they sustain it?
And hopefully they can, because this series isn't quite done over, and they don't want to be given up just yet. Just like Braziers as he tries to get that one in immediately, trying to reciprocate what he did to win the previous game. But Team Yas a little bit more prepared for it this time, and we don't want to see too much of that coming out, because we don't want to see any bulldozing happen in this series. We want to see a little bit more of an even playing field, because that's what we like. We like intensity, and that's exactly what they're trying to give us. If that one goes to the side, Braziers gets a nice 50, but Nico's going to boom that one away, not on target. Sarek able to take that off to the side. Yas is present, but no boost, not able to get the best touch as that one flies back. Nico going to put it in midfield, down to Alanis, but April's so quick to connect to the ball there. It's anyone's game at the moment.
Yeah, I saw the idea there, and as well as Alanis did, just kind of tap that one straight down, try to go for that redirect quickly. Doesn't really work the way that they maybe drew it up, but at the very least, gotta keep looking for those passes. Can't always just rely on solo plays and rebounds and kind of demos, but of course, as I say that, plowing through, Sarah getting credit.
There we go, Sarek. The unpredictable player in this one, just absolutely annihilating and taking down the opponents. Very, very, very sneaky from her, and it works out, so fair play to her.
I do like how you do it all yourself. Sometimes you hit the ball high, if the ball cam starts tilting up, you lose complete perspective on who else is on the field or who is around you, and therefore you can sneak in a demo, and no one is the wiser. Rough one to give up if you're Team Yas, but maybe a nice clean answer back from Nico. Sees an opening and takes it.
Nico just showing why he's here and to get the job done. What an angle. Sarek, do we call that another own goal or do we let that one slide?
That looks like one where I personally am on the side of I don't count those as own goals just because it's a save that you're kind of diving in desperately. You're probably not going to get there anyway. I feel like the own goals that really truly sting are the ones where it's very clearly going to be fine if you don't touch it or just get out of the way. And then instead you're like, but what if? Slaps right into your net.
Yeah, we don't like it when those happens, but sometimes they do. But Sarek, I'm sure, doesn't get too phased by them, hopefully, as this game does progress through. It is 1-1, 3 minutes left. Sarek is now stepping up and out. She says, my time to shine. Razier's step aside. April, gonna leave that one for Nico as he takes control. Gets a 50 out to the midfield. Alanis will collect. It's a little bit heavy on the touch, so it does fly out of her grip. And Alanis, April, sorry, able to take that one away. Big pinch into the front, but Alana's back very quickly to prevent that to become intimidating at all.
Alana's trying to, I think, maybe tap it down for Yas, and maybe a miscommunication there or misunderstanding of where they wanted that one to go. Nico is going to tap that one right down in front of the goal. I thought that was actually going to be a little dangerous, but turns out he's the man with the plan. And now Yas is the woman with the absolute dinger to the top corner. What a counter.
There we go. Maybe not the best play from Sarek, although it did maybe in her mind think that it was fine, but no matter how many times she touched that ball, it just didn't seem like it was going any other way there. So unlucky for Sarek in that situation. But yep, goal for Team Yas. They are now taking that lead in Game 4, which is probably ideally what they want, because they don't want Team Sarek kind of gaining that momentum and slipping away from them in the grand finals, because this is getting very intense and you don't want to be messing up as much. But April, I don't even know what happened there. I think she was already up. She went for a demo. It manages to recover just in time, just waiting for that ball. Little backflip in, and yeah, Alana's just not able to wrap around and get that one out.
And sometimes you are able to get close to a read, but not close enough, and that's always the, I would say, biggest tragedy of playing Rocket League, is that it seems like everything's fine, you got everything covered, and then one, you know, the shot is just slightly further away than maybe you anticipated, but it's fine. Nothing to really cry about, because it is still 2-2, anybody's game to play in the final 2 minutes. You get touches like that from Nico, you might be able to launch something forward. We thought he was going to be a little bit quick, but Brazier sees his way out. Now we'll have to dig another clear out from Team Yas as 9 boost. Alana's trying her best just to stay alive and can't even do that.
Wow, Yas is not letting that slip. Right in with a counter demo, actually, to prevent that play from happening all over. But a miss from Alanis is going to allow Brazier to try and sneak that in, but doesn't have the angle. Giving Yas an escape route here, going down to the blue side of the half. Alanis up for that pre-jumping, but isn't able to connect. She's going to sneak in, get a big bump on Sarek. April is back 0 boost and does get the 50 away from Nico. The pressure is coming out now in the last minute of this game. Can they keep it out? Are they going to keep themselves composed? Are they going to let it slip? And Nico is going to do exactly that. The pressure was too much for Team Sarek. Nico just effortlessly shooting that into the back of their net.
And that is an elite decision right there. Being able to roll into the corner, then immediately peel off, knowing that the clear is going to come right back to him, cuts into it, lobs it high to freeze that first defender, and then notices, I just got to put a back post to beat Razier's. Can't really script it any better than that. Now Team Sarek, having already pulled off some insane heroics on the comebacks, got to do it one more time in the final minute.
45 seconds. April, shot in. So simple. It felt really slow actually watching that. I wasn't prepared for it, to be honest. And yeah, Yas no boost. Not in the right position there to save that. Kind of opened that up for April as Razier's passed that over into the midfield. 3-3. All that build up for Team Yas just to be taken down so quickly by Team Sarek to even it out again. It's so back and forth.
It really is, and it's why you really can't take your eyes off any of these players as Nico gets the reset into the dunk, and yet Razier still gets just enough of an angle posted out, and I think right now Team Sarek would love to get a clear, and yet it's not really coming. Not a lot of boost in the tank. Nico, dunk, pre-flip, soft touch, another 50. Far side, Alanis and Yas both looking at it, but neither of them get it. Counterattack, it's wide open for April again. In the death of the game, it's Team Sarek coming up with a goal.
I love that April decided that she would stay midfield during this play. Even the fact that she didn't have any boost is just pure craziness in my eyes, but it just paid off so beautifully. Puts them in the lead with only a few seconds to spare. Maybe Nico can figure something out. Low boost, Razier hits it high, Sarek hits it away, Yas is there to collect. Can she keep it up? It goes up off to the corner. She tries to get it into the front of the net. Alanis is there off to the side. Nico has to grab it before it hits the ground. He plays it slow, leaves it for Yas, but Sarek knocks it down. She is not able to save the game there. Match point for Team Sarek.
Ah, man, just if she could get that one back, I bet Yas could have banged that one on target. But the difficulty is that Nico does everything he needs to do. He could go for a reset, but it's basically going to have to go at a 90-degree angle to the left of where he's facing. So being able to fake that and leave it for Yas, more or less uncontested, is a great idea. But I think Yas maybe got in her own head a little bit as she was approaching it. Her first goal, excellently taken, super good contact, but I feel like in those moments, it's not about actually hitting the ball hard. It's making sure you're putting it in a situation that's not going to go right at a defender. And when you have all three, basically all crammed into the goal, not easy to find that way through, especially as you're approaching that ball at 1,000,000 miles an hour. Tough loss, but it's a grand final. It's always going to come down to singular moments like that.
Yeah, you definitely need to be calculated when it comes to these plays, especially when there's no time left on the clock, and it was just not the play and how they wanted to end that, especially with it getting knocked down right in front of Sarek. She was just able to clear that one away. But incredible game from both teams. Lots of very intense moments, some great plays, team plays. The aggression has not stopped. It has been such a really crafty game and how they're coming up with these goals and how they're actually interpreting each other and how they're getting the ball around each other too. That even though Team Sarek are now match point, does that mean that Team Yas are gonna panic, or do you think that's gonna drive them to try and play even better than what they've been doing before?
I think people really need to keep the eye on the optimistic take / the silver lining of it all, is saying, yeah, we did lose those last two games. Yeah, they were in comebacks and last moments. That also means that we were leading. That also means that we were doing a lot of things right. It's about making sure that you don't get a little too overbearing on your offense. I think the biggest thing about why a lot of these goals are going in the end is because sometimes Team Yas is playing the best defense they can by playing good offense. Speaking of, clear off the Cuckster goes all the way down from Nico. But I think if Team Yas wants to continue on the series, they need to understand that healthy middle ground between being on top of the ball, getting shots, and also making sure that you're not just dialing everybody into the attack so much that you're giving up easy counters.
Yeah, and definitely as this game will progress, hoping that the pressure won't cave in on Team Yas, knowing that, you know, they can't lose anymore, no more lives left for this team. They really have to step up and make sure that, yeah, okay, Team Sarek is a hard opponent, and they're really making us do the work for it, but we now need to flip it on its head and give them something to work for, because if they want to win it, they have to go through us. You know what I'm saying? That's the mentality that you need, and I absolutely agree with what you said about how they can't really get too overwhelmed about how they're playing, because once you kind of lose the comfortability of your team playing with one another, and I think that one's about to go in from Alanis. It's all to play for, and it is just you have to keep on top of it and you can't let it slip.
Speaking of not being able to let one pass up, Alanis, I don't think you can really place it any better than that. That was a situation which April was getting back on that shot, and yet it had to go into that back corner, maybe even off the post as well, just to guarantee that goes in. So confidence builder again from Team Yas, showing that they are the ones typically on the forefront of a lot of this offense in this grand final. Now it's up to Team Sarek just to take that deep sigh and say, well, I guess comeback is what, again, we have to build up to.
Razier is gonna try and do some damage here in the corner, but Sark's gonna have to touch that one lightly. Razir's now going for the aerial play, but has met Yas. Nico, sorry. Yas getting a bump on Razir, saying, "Wait, what are you doing on our side? Get away. We're trying to keep this game in our hands. Thank you very much." That is the plan, I hope, because yeah, I don't like how but if I was Team Yas, I'd be scared knowing that Razir's is always around and ready to challenge and stuff like that too. So hopefully they keep themselves composed, or maybe we're gonna see Razir's get a little bit more aggressive here, maybe go for more bumps and demos, which I think he was about to do there, but Yas managed to get the bump, the dodge, sorry, and avoid that demo.
That is going to be the being able to get an after from last on top of Sarah. I thought your team be able to intercept that just in time and will gladly back and watch that clear. That's what I wanted to see from Team Yas more so, is when there's those moments where you don't really have the read on and you know a clear's coming in, let them clear. Sit back, get your boost, and then be able to attack again. And that's a good maturation of play from Team Yas. I mean, like they're learning from previous situations, like shutting down Razir's last second, but knew he had a tough angle. Get that save away and tuck it out to the corner.
Yes, a little bit of an awkward save there off to the side. She does not have much boost to work with, and now Razir's is going to take that one. Goes for the ground pinch, actually gets it past Alanis, surprisingly. But does not meet at the end of the back of the net. 1 minute 35 to go. Yas, Team Yas still in the lead, as they want to be. Ideally, they don't want Team Sark here to get any offensive pressure, which is Razir is exactly trying to do that. April almost sneaking that one in there, but two defenders there able to take that one away. Now on the counter attack, Alanis not able to catch up to that ball in time, so Razir is able to take control, but loses it. Nico booming it off back. Yas with a big bump on the third man defender there of Team Sarek, but not the boom that they wanted to get it in front of the net. This is getting a little bit scrambly as we come down to the last minute.
I really do like this from Team Yas, as you can notice with their positioning, they're kind of backing off, not necessarily giving away the ball and letting the other team control it, but they're doing just enough to stay close to it. And if there's not a clear, they're not going to go for it. And if there's a bump to be had, they're going to just give them a little tap. They're not going to full send, but it's a good kind of middle ground approach where I think they're doing everything that they need to. Thing is, you got to be consistent. That's a miss. That leads to April. 1-2 into Nico. Saved Sarah. Cuts in front of Razir's. Probably for the benefit is, I don't know if Razir's had the build-up that he wanted, but either way, one of the better chances, it's going to go out the window. And now, marching down with Nico, maybe trying to put this one to bed. Off the 50 from Alanis. That's 2.
That seems like a bit of a awkward situation to be in there. Sark did try to get that off to the corner, but didn't get the best 50, allowing that ball to still continue its path. And yeah, just 2v1 there against Razir's in the defender's net. And yeah, he's just not able to defend that one as strongly as he maybe would have intended to. And that is now 2-0 for Team Yas, with the game coming to an end very shortly. Can April try and bring it back to life? Maybe not, but Razir's almost did with that one banging off of the crossbar. Sarek trying to go for an awkward angle. Alana's able to get it out. Razir's going for the bump. April trying to keep it on, but no, nothing matters. Team Yas managed to pull it back in the series to tie it up once more. 2-2 in the grand finals.
Man, if there's anything that's going to make you clutch your control a little bit tighter, it's knowing that you've given up 2 comeback losses there in the past 2 games. And then right in the final 20 seconds, you were just getting pounded with shots, goal line saves, kind of close angles off the crossbar. So really nice to see Team Yas be able to lock in, get that dub. And also in the way that they did with a shutout, still double-digit shots, and yet being able to pretty much answer every single one of them with a save.
Take time. 2v1.
Nice. That's in.
In?
Nice.
Nice.
Good job. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice one.
I'll try again. They troll. You go quick. Go quick.
Watch out! I got bumped.
That's you. That's you. Time.
Yeah,
Go
stay
again.
behind.
30 seconds. 30 seconds.
Just like. Oh, nice.
Nice. I'm up.
Sure.
I had a
Nice. Good job.
Well done.
Nice.
I love how calm they are in those clips. I love how even though the timer's getting near its end, they're still very calm, even in these intense moments, knowing that, you know, they can't really give up any more games here with Team Sark still being on match point here. But yeah, game 6 we're going into Team Yas still fighting uphill a little bit, but do think based off of how they were talking to one another, they seem pretty confident in each other still.
I think the big thing that I noticed from that coming into this game 6 is I mentioned I like how Team Yas looks like they're a lot more considerate about each other's positioning and also the situation of the game. You saw Nico, or heard him rather, on Alanis getting that dribble before his second goal, being able to say, hey, 30 seconds, like, let's not overcomplicate things. Like, we don't need a goal right now. It'd be nice, but let's just make sure we're in a solid position, keep ourselves focused up, that we're not trying to mount this crazy comeback, just take it one step at a time. And I think that psychology definitely helps. It also helps when you have a bonk and a sidewall read to be able to clear the path.
That is exactly what they need right now. That's going to boost the confidence and the morale on the team, also knowing that they're like, yeah, you know, we can take control of the series again. Like, you ain't that scary. And I do think, touching back on what you said about Nico, is he's very patient with them as well. I think that they obviously know that there can be a little bit of flustering moments coming out. Maybe something coming from there from Team Sarek, but they did not have anything to worry about. But yeah, the patience thing. They're very patient in how they're playing, especially coming to that end of that last game. And I would not have any patience if I was Nico right now, because these saves are insane.
Well, a lesser player would have gone immediately, but he knows Raziers has that air dribble, but he's probably not going to get the second one. However, nobody is going to be back for this. Nico will reward himself stealing that goal away, but he was the one that set it up.
That was a really good play there from Nico, even though he didn't steal that goal from Alanis. He was able to clear that last man rotating back from Team Sarek and open that wide for Alanis. But yeah, you know what? Nothing wrong with a little goal stealing stat padding situation. You know, it makes you feel better, it makes you look good, you know. And I don't think Nico quite needs that, as he almost tries to slot that one, a third one into net. And yeah, that's gonna be the tone set for this game. Nico starting off strong, and maybe now Raziers can do something about it. But no, Nico, it's his time, Taco. It's his time.
Especially with demos coming in from both sides. That one was done by Sarek, but it was more a defensive demo, just to make sure that third man does not come in and get that goal. April going to not have enough boost for this one, but I think that's why Raziers was behind her just in case that didn't come through. And definitely on the back foot is Team Sarek. A situation they're really not that comfortable in, it seems like, as, again, a goal line clear is the only reason that ball is getting out of the half.
And I also saw Team Sarek actually double committing on the goal line there to make sure that ball got away, and they were able to clear it quite comfortably. Yeah, they're going to have to get out of that defense, start working on their offense as the time it ticks down, as we do start leaning into the second half of Game 6. They do have to figure something out here, or else Team Yas is going to get a third, can they? Yes, yes they can. Alanis able to tuck that one home. Yas just not able to, but what a great pop here against Sarek. And then to get it past Razier, such a beautiful, composed, clinical play from Yas there. I mean, full credits to her. All Alanis had to do was poke it in, but yeah, wow, what a play there from Yas.
Yeah, keep in mind that was done with basically 5 boost at the start of that. Just being able to land, get a flick, immediately hold the power slide, keep momentum, jump up, and then get the littlest of touches to be able to beat out that second defender. And sometimes you'd be amazed just how much you can do even if there's nothing in your tank. Ingenuity from the captain, leading by example. And right now, I think everybody on Team Yas, they're super hyped, but of course they've seen this story before. Maybe not with a lead this big, but know that their opponent's more than capable of being able to put together a couple of goals, especially in the next 2 minutes.
2 minutes is all they have here, and what can they do? Razier's gonna start it off strong, getting a nice solo play out, actually dodging that demo from Nico and getting it over both of the other players, double tapping that in quite nicely. Is this going to be enough time to get work in for Team Sarek? I hope so, because it keeps it interesting. But yeah, Team Yas still looking pretty confident. Lots of bumps coming out, like you said. Very aggressive series so far. It's exactly what we wanted it to be, Taco.
Yes, and right now we are on pace for something that I will definitely not mention, so I don't jinx it. But
Don't say
at the
anything.
very least, when we can get series like this, it really just shows how much of Rocket League is. People say, "Oh, it's based on momentum. If you just play well in a couple of games, everything's fine." No, we don't even have timeouts. These players are not getting extra time between games. Just 60 seconds to kind of reallocate all of your mental resources, figure out where you want the ball to be. If you're Raziers, you want it in the back of the net. The crossbar has other ideas, ever so close though, from the front man.
Yeah, definitely when it comes to a grand final, you don't want any sort of smothering happening to one team. It's always entertaining and more lightning mood when you know that the two teams playing are on par with each other's skill and really putting each other to the test, and that is definitely what's showing. But as we come into the last minute, Team Sarek is going to have to figure something out here if they want to prevent the game 7 from happening. And can they do that? Almost. April actually trying to put that one in, but saved away. Yas is going to keep that in control for Nico. But Raziers blocking it off, trying to get that pressure back on, but Team Yas aren't having it. They're like, no, this is our ball, this is our game. We want that game 7.
Being able to hit these high reads. Notably, they're hitting them not because they're hard reads necessarily for Sarek, but Team Sarek, but when you hit the ball into the ceiling, it forces the defense, if you're on the goal line, to kind of think twice about, can I really reach that? Can I not? And I think that's a huge strategy that Team Yas, I do like that they're hitting it into. It's not necessarily trying to get super clean passes around the defense. It's just making sure the defense is to second guess every single read that they're going for. Right now, it seems to be working, but of course, you can do that on the other side as well. Nice little delay flick into the pass, keeping this one at least within arm's reach.
Yeah, Nico was stuck in the net there for a little bit throughout that the lead up to events of that goal. Was doing his best to defend the net as much as possible, but yeah, one too many, and they were able to get the other goal. But based off of the fact that Nico has his ball and there's time ticking down, it's going to look like it could be a very intense 0 seconds for Yas to get into the game 7 that we have been waiting for.
You know, Jordy's, I mean, this is only natural, Jordy's, that like we have almost all sweeps on broadcast. Only one game does not go down in a sweep, and that was one of the quarterfinals that we saw. And yet, we get to the grand finals, and it's game 7. Honestly, the only thing that could make it any better is some overtime. But of course, I'm asking for a lot. I've already gotten really what we wanted. A banger series, back and forth, teams going left and right, shots going crazy, great highlights and teamwork. It's really the pinnacle of the women's scene, as well as all these lovely assistant players coming in, getting drafted, and being able to see just how it's all going to work out. But as we look at these highlights, it's a myriad of different approaches and plays.
Yeah, I mean, all the goals here that came out from this game were very, very well performed, and the confidence coming out from these guys, they just sound so composed too. You can tell there's no pressure. Right? Maybe there is pressure, maybe it's underlying a little bit, but they're laughing, they're having fun. You know, the momentum's still there, especially for Team Yas now, knowing that they managed to push themselves all the way to the game 7 that they probably really, really wanted.
And being able to get that game 7 is great. And of course, everyone loves to see this site. Champions Field in a tournament grand final. 10K Invitational comes down to the next 5 minutes and potentially some change. Team Sarek, Team Yas, one more time. We're going to get into it and see who is truly the supreme talent on the pitch.
Who's going to be the Radiant Invitational champions? And Nico's going to start off strong here as he starts off the offense for Team Yas. April going to pop it high. Alanis will connect with it since no one else followed it up. Giannis going to leave that. Giannis. I'm combining their names now, apparently. Sarek's going to take that one off the side. Nico, huge boom off, but Razier's able to touch that in the midfield. Going to stop them a little bit in their offense, but this is going to be an interesting one. Are we going to see one team kind of shine in this last game, or are we going to get that OT? It's going to be a hard one to tell.
At the very least, you might have to just wait for an opening in a game like this. Usually, I feel like these games are also like overtimes, but it lasts the whole 5 minutes. Everyone's a little bit more cautious, and maybe that is the penalty. One little tap up and over, and that's all the opening Team Yas needs.
Yes, they're sitting so close to the net too. Did get demoed by April, but managed to get that touch on the ball just before, so And yeah, wow, really good positioning. Maybe Nico calmed for her to be that far up, and because she didn't have that much boost to work with, but worked out in the end. So is this going to be a counter now for Team Sarek? They are now the ones that we are waiting to see if they manage to reciprocate that and get the goals going on their end too.
Lana's into the corner. We like the initial touch, but dealt with easily enough. April not going to get any boost, so Nico has to deal with Razier's 50, and he does not deal nearly well enough because that's a pass, maybe even a demo. It's going to be late, though, so the deflection saving that one from getting that equalizer as of yet. 90 seconds in, still just looking at that one singular goal separating these two teams.
Sarek, they're going for that on low boost too. Very confident, I won't lie. Did get a touch on it, but nothing came from it. Razier's now having to go for that save off the backboard. Trying to keep it close, but did get a heavy touch. Yas going to collect that quite comfortably. Is that going to be dangerous, though? No, not quite. Nico trying to keep it dangerous, but not really much aggression here. They're going to have to be a little bit more smarter with their plays. As Nico tried to do such. Is that going to make anything work, though?
Yeah, I do like all of his kind of flittered in plays where he's exiting out and then realizes, actually, I might be able to get on top of that, and then comes right back in. It's throwing Team Sarek for a bit of a loop. They're not really sure on how to prepare for that. And I think on Team Yas, they're saying, honestly, Nico, just do whatever you feel like is right. And if you are Team Sarek, what feels right is going for a bunch of demos. And problem is going to connect. Neither will that aerial. Double commit doesn't result in anything. They got to start all the way from their backfield.
You can see from Team Sarek as well, April is being the more of the aggressor of the team now, is trying to get more of those demos, trying to break up the play from Team Yas. Kind of sitting more forward here, as Sarek tries to do the same, but actually does get bombed, gets really knocked out of position there, has to try and find her way back. She's still struggling there a little bit. Now there's a big boom. Sarek's going to collect that, he's going to pass it right back. There is Razier's actually waiting, prying for that. Not able to get a good touch off it, so it doesn't equate to anything. And now Alanis gonna take this one slow. Takes it high as well, but April able to beat there. It's a bit of a chase game right now, cat and mouse style. Who's gonna get to it first? Nico is apparently.
Ooh, and now Alanis is open net and actually rushes the shot. Could have been a second, but instead have to shake your head and then get right back into the rotation because there is no rest for the weary in a series like this. It has been 7 games now, and yet it is starting to see some cracks form in both these squads. Uncharacteristic misses, uncharacteristic aerials that are not really connecting the way that they're planning. It's going to have to come down to whoever can clutch up. You just got to tighten up everything. There's just about 70 seconds more.
Yeah, the pressure is starting to reveal itself for these teams. I'd say for both, there is a few misses, a few call-offs here, but yes! The nail in the coffin potentially with a minute left here in Game 7. Could this be the goal that sets them apart from Team Sarek? They're open net due to a big demo coming out there from Team Yas. Huge goal there. Team Sarek are going to feel the immensity that is about to incur in the last minute here of this game.
Razier's top level reaction time right there. And now maybe trying to go for another clip. He's going to fake that Musty down to April. Usually the sniper here. And indeed, she's going to live up to that reputation again.
Oh my, what a way to come back to there. What a great 50 from Razier's. April to be there. Just a little bit awkward on the backboard, and just Alanis not able to get round to that. I may have spoke too soon. The nails have been removed from the coffin. 50 seconds left. Could Team Sarek bring this back? I don't think they can. Nico says no. Close the box. Please, let us have this. We've worked so hard. We've played so hard. What a great shot there to slot it right behind Sarek. Such an awkward position to be in as well.
Very awkward funeral, all this fumbling with closing and then reopening the casket, but maybe we'll find a decision on really what's actually going to go down in the end. Yas, that's a quality 50. Razier's has to rescue this one, and still with 40 seconds. It's not completely done and dusted, but certainly Team Yas has seen enough comebacks. They've been able to fend off their opponents down the stretch after giving away 2 heartbreakers earlier on. Maybe there's still some more pages in this story. Opening pass into April on that last attack rejected, and that's more seconds going to bleed off the clock.
20 seconds to go. Team Yas, Alanis, they were demo chasing. so they can't make anything form here. I mean, 10 seconds left. They need 2 goals. They need a miracle, and that miracle is walking away. Yas is making sure of it. 0 boost, keeping in the way. The ball is rolling in front, but there's not enough time. We have our Radiant Invitational Champions Team Yas will take this one home.
So well done. They're not only the winners of the best series of the day, but of course it had to be the grand final as well. The Radiant Invitational 10K champions is going to be the squad of Yas, Nico, and Alanis. Not super surprising to see how they played down the stretch, but to think that this team came in with having a 2-1 record, 7-5 in games and groups, and then just proceeds to just steamroll their way to the grand finals and take down arguably the bracket favorite. That's a great storyline. Love to see it.
Yeah, and congratulations to them all. I'm sure they were all very, very confident and really happy with how they probably performed there. I mean, game 7s can get super intense, but based off of the previous games that we saw throughout this series, they seemed so calm and they seemed very composed in a sense that they were not letting the pressure get to them. And I think that's what gave them that little bit more of an edge. And it's very nice to see that they were able to keep that throughout up until the end as well.
Yeah, I'll say the biggest thing, and obviously we'll be able to hopefully speak with people a little bit sooner than later in terms of Team Yas's mentality in that series. Because the hardest part, in my opinion, is just making sure when you're playing in the series to not get overly tilted. Because it's so easy to not like throw your controller and rage, but just those tiny mistakes that cost you games, it's very easy to just kind of start fuming and just kind of bubbling in your mind like, didn't have to drop that game. We could have got that save. Why'd we clear it like that? And just kind of let that build up. But I think it takes a lot from all these players. And you heard in the comms, they tend to be pretty efficient, pretty professional, pretty straightforward. And I think maybe that does help them just keep on target. And after a while, those comebacks stopped happening for Team Sarek. They were able to hold them off Team Yas and ultimately lead to a dub. Just really good performance, not only on the mechanical side, but on the psychological side.
Yeah, I mean, Team Sarek definitely looked like they were the stronger team in the starting half of the grand finals, even though it was a bit back and forth there. But yeah, Team Sarek were able to get that match point very quickly. But Yas, Team Yas, able to keep themselves together and keep them gelled, and they brought it back very well all the way up until the end there with that beautiful game 7 finish. I'm sure that they were ecstatic and in that last game.
And being able to also keep at bay the excitement. I find a lot of times when you get a goal in a grand finals, you'll get hype, but then it immediately sets back in. Oh, we have so much time to go. Okay, let's just just focus up. Let's be a little tense. But as the offense kept going for them, kept being able to continue getting those open nets, getting those demos, controlling the pace, the anticipation has to be kicking in on that. So we'll be able to listen in a little bit on the winning moment, and hopefully then be able to go into a small break and set up that interview. But obviously a lot to still happen here at the Radiant Invitational.
Go again.
Yeah, I'm annoying. Nice.
Nice
I'll go
first.
Fighting lost.
Taking first. Going under him.
Go lost. One more.
Around. Bobbing. Free shot.
Nice! Okay, nice. Come on.
Good follow.
Come on, let's go. Holy shit.
One more.
Nice.
50?
Nice, good
You
ball.
can go in.
Nice.
Oh, you.
Fighting behind.
Taking try.
Wait for one.
That's it, Bella.
You got it, Nico.
Nice.
Nice.
Nice. Come on.
Good
That's
solo
pretty
play.
good.
Good job.
Merci beaucoup.
No way, bro.
Nice. Keep going.
Go again. I'll say
GG's, guys. Well played.
Nice! First win ever!
Let's go.
First
GG's,
win
guys.
ever. Oh, what a W. Oh, let's go.
Nice.
We come back.
Let's go.
Let's go. Let's go. Good.
Team Yas there. That is a really well-deserved celebration there. Yas claiming her first win. I'm sure she's going to be very pleased with that, and it's one to remember because they played absolutely incredible. I mean, you said so yourself what generational run that was, going to a little bit of a shaky group stage and then being able just to pummel their way through to the grand finals.
Yeah, not exactly like the last seed, but I think above all the players, I think they actually did, have the worst game differential out of any team that qualified in for the top 8. So being able to win it all just shows that it does not matter what happens prior to the final bracket. If you are on your game on the day, it's going to work. And of course, it just brings a smile to everyone's face to hear Yas yell out, first win ever. Hyped to be able to get that under the belt. And even if this is an invitational, it's not the formal league, you're not playing with your usual teammates, it's difficult to get thrown into a new squad and perform, and they certainly did. Congrats again to them, and obviously everyone in chat just as hype as they are.
Yes, congratulations to Team Yas, and we will get an interview hopefully after a short break that we will have. So stay tuned if you want to hear the final thoughts of Team Yas winning the Radiant Invitational tournament.
Hello and welcome one more time back to the Radiant Invitational. We have played all the games and now we got the belle of the ball, Yas herself, being able to come on for an interview after a grand final dub. And we heard the shout in the comms. First win ever. How's it feel?
Feels amazing. This is all I ever wanted. This is what I grinded for. And yeah, I finally reached what I wanted, and I'm just so happy and proud of my team.
Well, congratulations as well. It's always good news to hear that you've got your first win in the bag. I wanted to ask about how you were feeling there in the later half of the series. Team Stark did get match point there in the middle, and you did have to win 3 games in a row, I think, in order to actually take the series. What was going through your guys' mind at that point, knowing that you had to win 3 in a row to actually take the win?
To be honest, I was so nervous. Like, I couldn't hold myself together. But luckily we have a pro player, Nico. He has been in the spotlight like this, and he was just telling us what we had to do or how to play better and what we had to improve, and that just really worked out. And overall, we just played really good with the pressure that we had.
Yeah, and speaking of that pressure, I mean, we were really blown away that, honestly, my biggest thing was just exactly what you mentioned, keeping it together, where you had some really rough losses where it just came together in the final, 2 minutes, gave up some goals. What were those conversations in between those games about? You mentioned that Nico had mentioned, hey, just, keep things calm. What was it like to be able to actually have to calm yourselves down in only 60 seconds?
It was nervous, but yeah, we did what we had to do, and I think we did a really great job in chilling down at the end and just keep playing our game the way that we did the whole day, and yeah, it just worked perfectly fine.
And I just want to say as well that leading up to the grand finals, you guys did sweep the quarters and the semis, but when you got to grand finals, obviously went to game 7. Did that make you more nervous, the fact that it was going the whole way, or do you think that it actually made it more fun and more tense?
To be honest, it was just the finals that just got me stressing and got me so nervous, especially when they went into match point. I feel like I wasn't really playing the best that I could, and so overall it was just only the finals that was for me a little bit nervous, and the rest was just, the sweeps were all chill for me.
I mean, when we were looking at a lot of these highlights, I mean, every single goal that you got was like banged. Like it was like perfect contact. And so you might have said you're nervous, but apparently your instincts were kicking in. Throughout this series, I mean, you felt like you were hitting your shots cleanly, but you were trusting in. I also noticed you guys were going for a lot more demos. Did it just happen out like that, or did you guys talk specifically like we need to start clearing out their back line and kicking them out?
So I would say we kind of had a game plan, but it was more just trying to shut down Raziers, the pro player, and then try to like just play our game. And it worked every time again. I think we did it against all the teams that we played, just shut down the pro players and then just play our own game. And it kept working.
Well, we need to give credit where it is due, even though you're saying that you don't think you played that well. In our eyes, you and everyone on your team played absolutely fantastic, and it is a very well-deserved win in this tournament as well. So please go celebrate well. It is hugely deserved, and yeah, I'm sure. Is there any final thoughts? Anyone that you want to shout out before we wrap this up?
Of course, I want to shout out Radiant, all the casters, everyone working behind the scenes. Thank you guys so much for putting on events like this for us women in Rocket League to be able to compete. Of course, big shout out to my teammates. They're amazing. Also, the other teams that were really supportive, Bella, Courtney, etc. My manager, coach. Big shout out also to the org, BS Plus competition, for the big support. Also, my family, Nas. Thank you so much for all the support. Much love to everyone, literally.
Well, we love to hear that. And of course, love to hear from Yas. Thank you so much. Have a good rest of your day.
You too.
Or night. It's late.
Well, I was about to say, I'm like, actually, hold on. That's very NA of me to assume that it's the daytime. So, no, it's late for everyone else, but Jordy's also late for you. So, about time that we do wrap things up here for yet another successful Radiant event. I was a little nervous, but as always, Radiant delivers. We got our Game 7. We got our first tournament, whatever, for Yas, and love to hear that joy in the air. And certainly it's echoed by all the fans and people in Prod here. It's just lovely to see the women's community come together, put together some fun events for everyone to participate in, and obviously put together an entertaining stream for everyone to enjoy.
Yeah, I mean, following up on what you said as well, Taco, thank you so much to everyone that put this together, the production team and everyone else working, the players as well, for making this show as entertaining as it was, even though the majority of the games we watched today were sweeps. But nonetheless, the grand finals, fantastic as well. Thank you so much to you, Taco, for helping me, as I am a little bit rusty from doing all of this. I really appreciate how comfortable you've made me throughout this day in the tournament. So yeah, all around happy. Thank you guys also for watching. We hope you enjoyed. Hopefully we get more Radiant tournaments in the future, and maybe we can see Yas get her second win too.
I'd be super down for that. But until next time, yes, this is going to be goodbye here for the Radiant Invitational. So shout out to everybody behind the scenes as well, because tournaments like this aren't just made by the players. It is also made by the production staff. Shout out to Pinecone. Shout out to Kai Serene. Shout out to GC, Frey Hayes, Species, and of course, Sapphire over at the Radiant. Heather, always fun to be able to work alongside you. So until next time, peace out. This has been the Radiant Invitational. Team Yas taking it home. Until next time, see you later.
Whatever. Oh, what a W. Oh, let's go.
Nice.
Come back.
Let's